Welcome to the Meadowlands, everyone. We're here at the Continental Airlines Arena live. One championship has been decided tonight. We've got one more to go. Brick wins the public title, and next up, the parochial title game in the NJSIAA New Jersey Devils Hockey Championship as Seton Hall Prep meets Delbarton. And good evening, everyone. I am Bob Wischusen, alongside, once again, my broadcast partner, Peter Caggiano. And Peter, one of the great rivalries in high school hockey in New Jersey about to get underway before us tonight.
Well, you can forget about the Red Sox and the Yankees, the Devils and the Rangers. When you talk high school ice hockey in New Jersey, you talk Delbarton and Seton Hall.
Delbarton, obviously the team with something to prove tonight.
Well, last year in this exact game, Seton Hall beat Delbarton. And then again earlier this year when they played at the Menin Arena, Seton Hall, with a goal with just 13 seconds to go in the game, beat Delbarton by a score of 4-3.
The big gun for Delbarton, Matt LaPaglia.
Matt LaPaglia, what a player this kid is. 20 goals. He's a real strong player. He's just a junior. He's not only their goal-scoring leader, he's their physical and spiritual leader. The players look up to him for guidance and leadership. The
Seton Hall Prep Pirates come into this game the defending overall state champions. They are obviously the team that's just trying to hang on to what they've got.
Seton Hall, definitely the class of the state. They do a tremendous job this year, a record of 22-2-1. That's just outstanding. And they play a complete game both offensively and defensively.
And it all begins and ends with Brandon Doria.
Wow, what a player. Brandon Doria, he's a senior. 40 goals this year. Leads the team in scoring as well. But when you talk to the coaches, Peter Herms and John Warchel, they'll tell you he does more than that. He's a complete player. Back checks, picks up his man, and completes every play he makes.
What a matchup we've got tonight. It's number 2 and number 3 in the state. The number 1 seed in the parochial bracket against the number 2 seed in the parochial bracket. Seton Hall Prep and Delbarton, and it is coming up next. Please stay with us. Okay, we're here. Wischusen and Peter Caggiano back live here at the Meadowlands. We are awaiting the start. We're only moments away of our parochial championship tonight, the Seton Hall Prep Pirates and the Delbarton Green Wave. And of course, the Delbarton Green Wave, coached, Peter, by Brian Day.
Brian Day does a great job with these kids. He has a unique style. He doesn't play 3 forwards and 2 defensemen. He has 2 forwards and what he calls 3 backers. And it's almost a page out of a soccer book where they have a stopper or a sweeper. That third guy can either jump up with the forwards or stay back and help out with the defense.
Taking a look at how the Green Wave arrived in tonight's championship game. Bergen Catholic a struggle, convincing over Hudson Catholic. Pat Lonergan with the hat trick in that game. They have been an impressive team.
They've played well all season, and it seems like they're peaking just at the right time.
As we move over to the Seton Hall Prep side, in our first game with Brick, Bob Oriema, a living legend as a coach. Well, we've got the same thing tonight with John Warchol and Seton Hall Prep.
John Warchol has been behind the bench for 25 years at Seton Hall. He is probably, with Bob Oriema, one of the most recognized coaches in the state of New Jersey.
The Pirates overall at 22-2-1. They beat Don Bosco Prep in the first round of the parochial bracket, 3-1. And a shutout over CBA behind Jeff Skowronski. And Skowronski has been wonderful. So Seton Hall Prep and Delbarton just about set to go. Both of these teams have been wonderful. You basically got 2 of the top 3 teams in the state playing in front of you tonight.
Well, we must congratulate the seeding committee tonight, Paul McGinnis and his staff. You mentioned earlier we have the number 1 seed on the parochial side against the number 2 seed, and that's just the way you draw it on paper when you make up the list.
Between the pipes tonight for the Delbarton Green Wave, Ross Cherry. Overall in the year, a very impressive record at 14-7-1. And when you get your goals against down below 1-8, you are doing something right.
And Ross Cherry, just a sophomore. In fact, last year he started this very same game as a freshman. And not only does he play hockey, he's also the goaltender on their JV soccer team.
And you talk about good goals against averages. How about this one sported by Jeff Skowronski?
Jeff, just outstanding. Less than a goal a game. You can't get any better than that.
Delbarton and Seton Hall Prep. Bob Wischusen and Peter Caggiano set to bring it to you. The starting lineups. And as Peter pointed out, Delbarton in the visiting road green, they do play a very unusual style. Matt LaPaglia and Pat Lonergan will start up front with their three backers, Silvestri, Callahan, and Fossey. And for Seton Hall, what a wonderful line. Brandon Doria, he and his 72 points will center E.J. Solomon, and Brady Crooks, John Dibble, and Ed Caldwell back on defense. Just about set to go. They'll drop the puck in center ice.
That's Rick Berquist going to drop the puck right in the middle of the arena. And Kevin Gertz is our other official standing by the scorer's table.
Doria and Callahan on the opening draw. It's won by Seton Hall Prep, and we are underway as Crooks winds it in behind Cherry. Back to Chase Silvestri behind his own net, and he will work it up the right wing to Callahan. Back to Silvestri. Silvestri almost loses control. Brady Crooks on the forecheck. Seton Hall, a very aggressive team, but through center, here is Pat Lonergan. Has it poked away from him by Dibble. And along the near board side, what a hit laid by Silvestri on Caldwell. Callahan up the left wing. Pass intended on the left side, and across the line with a drive comes Silvestri. It's stopped by Skowronski, and he will hold on.
Well, no feeling out period in this game. Right away, quick shot and save. Watch this hit on the side. This is Eric Silvestri, the senior. Nice howdy-do first 15 seconds into the game.
And here's the shot from Silvestri. Good. A low shot, handled easily by Skowronski. He is a good goaltender.
But notice after the save, the Delbarton team was rushing the net, looking for a rebound, looking for a straight puck.
Chester Patterson wins the draw for Delbarton. Back to the point. This is Scott Herbst. Cross-ice pass for Ryan. Chris Ryan's shot stopped by Skowronski. Picked up in the left corner by Joe Samarco. And a pass up the center of the ice surface to Kyle Fox. On towards Scott Everins. Everins for Seton Hall Prep. Banging in the left corner with Chris Ryan. And gathering the puck for Delbarton and banging it out the center is Joe Crotty. Right back into the Delbarton zone. Forced to chase Scott Herbst. Herbst will wait behind Cherry for his group to get organized. In a very interesting system. You keep your eye on it if you're a hockey fan. They play somewhat of a 2-3, and it's interesting, Peter, because it's a system that you would think would be more defensive-oriented, but talking to Coach Brian Day of Delbarton, he actually has credited the system with creating more offense for the Green Wave.
Well, that's because of two things. One, he has very good players, and two, that third player has the flexibility and freedom to jump up when he needs to and stay back when he has to.
Solomon loses control in the Pirate zone. Connor McNally, the big defenseman, battling forward on the left side. It comes around to the right side where John Saunders will fight for it. Saunders and McNally back on defense. Brady Crooks in there fighting as well, and it's forced back out to center where Crooks lays a hit on Callahan. Callahan, though, able to gather himself and dump it back into the Pirate zone, where it's picked up behind his own net. And up the left wing, across the line, here is Crooks. Crooks forces it deep, tried to get one to Doria, could not. Backhanded centering pass, picked off by Chris Demuth. And Demuth, cross-ice pass for Delbarton, picked up by Silvestri, and he will bang it in. Behind the net, Dave Murphy for the Pirates. Sends it around the boards. This is Pat Lonergan, number 9, losing control for Delbarton. Doria, a cross-ice pass, picked up by Murphy, and the defenseman dumps it in, takes a hit, falls down, and goes off for a change.
Great play by Reynold Fossey right there. Not taking the puck, but rather taking the man, squeezing him into the boards, and not allowing him to gain the zone.
Pat Lonergan for Delbarton along the left wing boards, and a penalty is going to be taken by John Dibble. He and Lonergan got together, a delayed call on the way. There's the whistle in center, and it looks like Dibble will go off for a cross-check. He got involved with Lonergan along the left wing boards, and it looks like very early in the game, less than 3 minutes into the game, Delbarton will have a power play.
Kevin Gertz calling the cross-check right there, but this game has started out with a lot more intensity. No feeling out time. Players coming in, banging each other. Good work defensively. That time just a little over-aggressiveness by Seton Hall, and it'll give Delbarton the opportunity. We'll see if we can take a look at it right there. You see the second shot, and he put it right into the chin of Pat Lonergan, and because of that, he'll sit 2 minutes.
Now, Pat Lonergan is a player that you should definitely keep your eyes on, because he is a guy, and you can see him banging here in the corner, that was hurt for most of the year. And Lonergan back in the lineup tonight. He had a hat trick in their last game against Hudson Catholic.
Well, they're very happy to have him back. He had a knee injury and also a head injury that he had suffered. He's an all-state soccer player, and hockey's actually his second sport, and he's a hell of a hockey player.
Dave Murphy, big defenseman for the Prep, able to dump it all the way down. Owen Callahan out there with Reynold Fossey. Fossey up the left wing boards, though, to Lonergan. Lonergan through center, pass intended for LaPaglia, off his skates, and once again Murphy there to stamp things up at the line. Forces it to Doria, who clears it all the way down. Behind his own net, Callahan, the captain for Delbarton, waiting for things to get organized in front of him. Now he will skate it right up the center of the ice surface. Right wing pass for Fossey. Fossey across the line. Fossey to his left. High slot. Still controlling. Loses control now. Clearing attempt kept in by Callahan. This is Silvestri at the left point. Big drive and a kick save made nicely by Skowronski. Keeping it in the zone, though, is Fossey. Fossey throws one on net. Silvestri there in traffic. The save made by Skowronski. Lonergan couldn't see it up. And it's banged to the far boards and all the way out by Dibble.
Delbarton has to do a better job of getting shots from a little closer in. Shots from 60 feet out are not going to beat Jeff Skowronski unless they're deflected or he's screened.
And now an icing call. And Reynold Fossey very angry at himself as he skates over to the Delbarton bench. 47 seconds to go on the power play. 10:57 to go in a scoreless first period. But on the power play now, the Green Wave forced to come all the way back into their own end to the right of their goaltender, Ross Cherry, to try and get things organized once again. The last thing you want to see is icing on the power play.
Absolutely. That's just a lack of hustle. When you're that close to the red line, you have to get over the line first and dump it in. There we take a look at the play of Solomon sitting in the box for the remainder of his time.
Off the draw, coming back, Andrew Massano for the Green Wave. He dumps it in behind Skowronski. Skowronski cannot flag it down, but no matter. Dave Murphy there to pick it up, and he clears it all the way out once again. Half minute to go on the power play. Once again, Delbarton getting things organized. Scott Herbst and Andrew Massano. Andrew Massano up the right wing boards for Herbst, who dumps it in. Around the boards to the left, Patterson there. Kept in at the point momentarily by Ryan, just about fanned on that shot, allowing Dibble to pick up the loose puck and once again clear it all the way down.
Great job by Seton Hall Prep here to keep the pressure out of their zone. They're doing a nice job of gaining control of the puck and then icing it down to relieve any offensive opportunity by Delbarton.
In the offensive zone, it's banged around, hard around by Ryan. Kept in at the right point by Silvestri. Momentarily, the penalty is over. Teams are back at even strength. We're back to 5-on-5. And along the near boards, Ed Caldwell, big defenseman for Seton Hall, fighting along with Scott Eberens. And Seton Hall able to force it back out the center. In center, here comes Solomon across the line. Big drive and a kick save by Cherry. The rebound picked up and back the other way comes Silvestri. Momentarily has it knocked off his stick, but picked up by Demuth. To Silvestri, who bangs it in, and Delbarton will change.
First time that Ross Cherry's been tested tonight, and he came up big. Good use of the right pad to stick it out and make that save.
Puck sent all the way down the right wing boards across the end line. Ed Caldwell flagged down for icing, so the faceoff will call all the way back down the other end. Deep in the Seton Hall Prep zone to the right of Jeff Skowronski.
Watch, right from about 50 feet out. He comes out just to the top of the crease to cut down the angle a little bit, but he does a fine job of using the entire 12 inches of each one of those pads, sticking out the right one, making the save right there.
Now, for the fans that were with us, Peter, during our first game, compare and contrast the teams we're watching now with those first couple of teams and what we're looking at in terms of a skill level. Are these teams that we're watching here just as good as Brick, better than Brick? Where does that kind of factor in?
Well, sometimes you play to the level of your competition. I think Brick probably can play a little better than what they played earlier today, even though they were in complete control of the game. But the two teams you're seeing tonight are two of the best.
Brandon Doria across the line. He had a puck up on its edges, so he lofted basically a pitching wedge on the slap shot up over the end boards and out of play.
Well, there is a patch of green over there. I thought that was what he was shooting at.
And there you're getting a look at number 8 for Seton Hall, and that's John Saunders. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it should, because the broadcaster that you've probably seen at times on ABC, John Saunders, is the uncle of John Saunders of Seton Hall Prep. Doria off the faceoff. Kept in momentarily by Saunders, and fighting for it McNally, but losing control to Silvestri, who comes back the other way. Offside play, though, at the line, so once again we'll have a face-off outside the zone.
There we take a look at Peter Herms, who coaches along with John Warchol. Peter, previous to this, had coached at Montclair High School, and a few years ago made the move over to Seton Hall. And last year, they were not only the parochial champions, but also the overall state champions. And Peter has a long history of hockey, played professional hockey, he coached at the professional level, and he's a real find for Seton Hall to have them behind their bench.
And he played for John Walker back during the 70s. So
That's
Peter
right.
Herms is a graduate of Seton Hall Prep, and you're right, it's great to have a guy with that kind of experience back behind your bench. Off the draw, Delbarton controlling in their own end. Scott Herf behind his own net, letting things get set up. A very conservative forechecking pattern there by the Seton Hall Pirates. Is that characteristic of the Pirates, Peter?
Well, they'll change it up. They'll change it even shift to shift, never mind game to game. Peter Herms and John Warchol really think this game through, and depending on the competition they play against, they'll put together a forechecking plan that they think will work against the players. Sometimes they send one deep, sometimes two deep, and that can change as the game dictates.
Jeff Tuthill lofting it out of play for Delbarton. So the face-off will come outside the Seton Hall zone, long to the right of Skowronski. And again, we saw it in the first game tonight. We seem to be seeing it here in the second game. There's that feeling out period at the beginning of a game of this magnitude.
But this one is a little quicker than the first game, and these players know each other well. They've played against each other, and again, you know, these schools are only about 10 miles apart. One is in Morristown, one is in West Orange, so it's not uncommon to have neighbors go into two different schools. In fact, last year we had two brothers. The Solomon brothers, one went to Delbarton and one went to Seton Hall.
In center, Pat Lonergan getting it back to his own end, and he will take it up the left wing to the line. Steps to the prep line, comes deep. Lonergan forcing his way out in front of Skowronski. Loose puck just hops over Skowronski, who has now lost his mask, and we get a whistle.
Oh, that has to be an immediate whistle. As soon as the mask comes off a goaltender, actually, now a helmet or mask comes off any player, it's an immediate whistle. But that was just a spectacular save.
Peter Caggiano, of course, my broadcast partner here, a longtime official at the high school level, and we're going to get another look at this rush from Pat Lonergan.
Watch the move to the outside. He goes to the backhand, a little bit of a collision in front, and just a great save by Jeff Skowronski. Watch the power right here, using the left skate to shield the puck. There's the shot. Actually, it's his own player. That's Connor McNally that knees Jeff Skowronski in the back of the head, knocking off his helmet.
And it looked like Skowronski actually made the save with his left pad backwards. That puck may have snuck over him if he had not lifted up his left knee and actually, without his mask on, knocked the puck back into the crease.
Well, that very well could have happened, and what I don't know is if they would have counted the goal, because there's supposed to be an immediate whistle as soon as the helmet comes off. But sometimes it's tough for an official to spot that because he's looking at everything and not at the goaltender's head.
Is that at any level?
It's at the high school level. I can't speak for other levels, but at the high school level,
automatic whistle.
Automatic whistle. Any player, including the goaltender, their face mask or helmet gets dislodged, immediate whistle.
Lonergan and Caldwell meet in the left wing corner, as does LaPaglia behind the net with Dibble. Lonergan able to win the puck, get it out to the point, loose puck in front, looking for it is LaPaglia, and it just slid off his stick. Dibble may, with that check, have had something to do with that. Kept him at the right point by Tuthill. To Lonergan, cruising in the Seton Hall zone. Behind the net, has it knocked off his stick, and Joe Samarco picks it up for Seton Hall and is able to bounce it out to center.
What a great job by John Dibble that time. LaPaglia was trying to get around the outside. He was denied every step of the way.
Caldwell feeds Doria, who dumps it in behind Cherry. Cherry stops it for Callahan, wound around the boards and back out the center, picked up by Dibble, and on the delayed offside, Seton Hall forced to clear the zone. That gives Callahan plenty of time to backhand it back out to neutral ice, and in neutral ice, picked up across the line comes Delbarton. Going deep in the right corner is Patterson. Patterson is bodied off the puck nicely, though. Silvestri joins the play. He collides with Samarco, and back out the center, the loose puck falls into the hands of Doria. for Seton Hall, who takes it into the right wing corner. Tries to beat Fossey. Fighting with Fossey. Losing control. Callahan picks it up, but Doria, relentless. Nonetheless, though, it's picked up by LaPaglia and sent back out the center by Delbarton.
Another good play by Reynold Fossey, using his body, using the stick, actually, to hold up the Seton Hall player from getting around the net.
Callahan bangs with Solomine behind the net. Fossey joins the play. Solomine, though, comes away with the puck momentarily before Callahan reins him in once again. And now this time, Fossey able to pick it up. And he finds through center Chester Patterson. Off his stick, though, banged right back in by Connor McNally. It goes across the end line for an icing touch-up. 6:09 to go in a scoreless first period of our final tonight here between Delbarton and Seton Hall Prep. And we'd like to remind you that all spring long, CN8 will be at the fields of your favorite area college for exciting NCAA action. Because next up, we will have Princeton and Rutgers lacrosse Saturday, March 27th at 7:30 p.m. So we'd invite you certainly to join us for Princeton Rutgers. It's lacrosse coming up Saturday, March 27th at 7:30. Visit CN8 on the web at www.cn8.com for the complete CN8 spring sports schedule. Off the draw, gathering it in his own end, sending up the right wing is Chris Ryan. Loose puck bounces all the way in on Skowronski, who's forced to stop. Up the left boards, Tuthill keeps it in for Delbarton. Tuthill controlling. Tuthill losing control at the left wing circle, and back comes through center Solomine. Solomine has the puck roll off his stick, though, and back comes Ryan for Delbarton. He quickly gives it away at the offensive line and dumped right back down by Seton Hall, forcing Tuthill to chase. Tuthill leaves it for his partner, Ryan. Ryan losing control momentarily, bangs it off the end boards to the far side, intended for Cilia, and back out to center. Doria picks it up, backhands it towards the Delbarton line, and once again forced to chase. For Delbarton is Silvestri. Silvestri quickly through center, but he's bodied off by Doria nicely. He snuck a pass towards Lonergan, but off his stick. Silvestri gathered. Back to Callahan. Right wing for Fossey. And in center, pass picked off by Brady Crooks for Seton Hall. Momentarily, though, only because here comes Pat Lonergan working deep against Samarco. Samarco rides him off the puck. Back to the right point. Shot blocked before it got through. Another shot this time by Fossey. Blocked before it ever gets through to Skowronski once again. And back comes Brady Crooks for Seton Hall. Neither team really able to get any flow going at this point as Brady Crooks fires one in on Ross Cherry. Have yet to have maybe one good scoring opportunity so far for Delbarton. But other than that, we have played a fairly uneventful first period.
Well, that's because both teams are very well disciplined. They're very well coached, and they play that defensive style. You would think that because they score so many goals, everything's offense. Not at all. It's their good defense that sets up that offense.
Here's Doria in front for Crooks. Crooks trying to control from his knees. Dragged down, no call. The loose puck picked up by Delbarton, and through center comes Fossey. Fossey steps to the Seton Hall line. Has the puck go off Skowronski momentarily. Picked up by Fossey and backhanded wide. And unable to keep it in at the right point is Herbst. Fossey beat his man, went after the puck. Skowronski came out to try and play a loose puck, misplayed it, and that allowed Fossey a good scoring opportunity. He couldn't put it home.
I don't know how that puck stayed out of the net. It was right on the line. There were guys swinging their sticks at it, but give credit to Skowronski. He kept it off the net.
Chris Ryan for Delbarton loses control. Tuthill forced to chase. Gets it to Herbst. Herbst back towards Tuthill. Out in center, off the far boards to Demuth, and Demuth will chase against Dibble. Loses control, and able to pick it up. John Saunders for Seton Hall on the right wing for Solomine. Solomine goes deep, ducks under a Silvestri check. Behind the net, no Callahan, able to control the right wing corner, leaves it for Silvestri. Silvestri trying to force one back to Callahan. Not to be, Scott Everins in there, fighting for it, but Silvestri comes away with it. Silvestri off the boards for Cilia. Cilia working on Dibble. Dibble beats into the puck very nicely and sends it to the far board. Enabling E.J. Solomine to skate it up the left wing. Solomine across the line. The play is onside. Loose puck. Still loose. Picked up now by Delbarton, and in center with a wide open left wing is Silvestri across the line. Silvestri, wrist shot, easily sticked aside by Skowronski. We are scoreless in the first period at the Meadowlands. The Seton Hall Prep Pirates and the Delbarton Green Wave. 2.5 minutes to go in this scoreless first period. Back to chase Chris Ryan behind his own net. Holds up behind Ross Cherry, waits for help, checks now, and sends it around the board. Pass intended for LaPaglia. Never got there. Intercepted by Crooks. Out in front, intended for Samarco, and Samarco was dragged down, and we will have a penalty call.
Wow, a lot of action back and forth. We're going to look at some action that happened a few minutes ago. This is Reynold Fossey. You see the fan right there by Skowronski. Now look, the puck is sitting right there on the line, and it's a defenseman who clears it away.
Skowronski certainly adding a couple of more gray hairs to the head of John Warchel, and maybe a few new ones for Peter Herms there as he came out and misplayed that puck terribly.
We're going to catch the penalty. This is going to be Matt LaPaglia. He's going to sit 2 minutes for hooking right there.
He received 2 minutes for interference.
They're going to call the penalty interference. What he did is he took out the Seton Hall player before he was able to play the puck, negating a scoring opportunity. And now with just 2:16 remaining here in the first period, Seton Hall will get their first power play.
And Seton Hall has that big-time line out there with Brandon Doria and his 72 points centering. Off the face-off, though, Doria loses control of the face-off, but Saunders is there at the right point to keep it in. Behind the net, Callahan. Callahan with plenty of room for Delbarton, and he's able to slap it all the way down. Skowronski forced to stop. And back comes Dibble to pick it up. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first period. Minute 38 to go in the Seton Hall power play. Solomon dumps it in behind Ross Cherry. Cherry leaves it there, letting Reynold Fossey play it instead. Fossey beating two Seton Hall Pirates to the puck, and he clears it out to center. It's stick down by Saunders. Saunders with a cross-ice pass for Doria. Doria across the line. Doria's dangerous in the open ice if he can get there. Comes deep. Doria pulls up. Checked off by Callahan and Fossey. And Lonergan going after the puck. But Solomon beats them to it. Solomon in the right wing corner. Minute 23 to go in the first period. 1 minute to go in the power play. It's loose in the corner. Four players fighting for it. Behind the net, Doria. Cute little pass out in front for Solomon. He puts a shot on. It's stopped by Cherry. Loose puck in front. The rebound fired high. Oh, what an opportunity Brady Crooks had there in the slot. He tried to roof it, could not do it. And now it looks like we have a penalty called, possibly the other way, against Seton Hall. We have a whistle, and the Delbarton fans are pretty happy, but there is no penalty called.
Watch this action in front. Some great saves by Ross Cherry. He's going low because he doesn't know where the puck is. Right there, the shot goes high, but that's the only shot he had because Ross Cherry had the lower side covered. Watch some of the activity from ice level. There you see the first save. There's the second save. And here's the third shot that goes up over the net, and then he jumps on the puck for the whistle.
What an opportunity Brady Crooks had there. 51 seconds to go in the power play. 1:07 to go in the period. At the right point, McNally keeps it deep, intended for Doria. Past him to Crooks. Back to Doria. Doria loses control. And it's picked up by Joe Crotty momentarily. Crotty now loses control. It rolls in harmlessly on Cherry. And he holds on for a face-off. 53.2 seconds to go in the first period. Only 37 seconds to go now in the prep power play.
There's Brian Day. He's a little concerned, although for the first period, nothing. Pretty even game back and forth. But as we mentioned earlier, Brian, a real tactical type coach. Likes to maneuver his players. Will play a very strong system, and he's been very successful with it.
Brady Crooks and Silvestri on the draw. One back to the point. Dibble with a drive through traffic. The rebound stopped by Cherry. Cherry hugs his left post and holds on to the rebound as Brady Crooks was knocking at the door.
That time Ross Cherry again up to the task. Remember, this fellow's only a sophomore. Good job on the face-off by Joe Crotty to get the puck to the point. First shot is a save. And watch the scramble in front. You saw right there the left hand of Ross Cherry taking no chances. That puck was just off behind the net. He quickly reaches out with the gauntlet and holds on for the whistle.
Doria once again will be on the draw. 45 seconds to go here in the first period against Owen Callahan. Callahan a senior, Doria a senior. Doria loses the draw, taken by Lonergan. He kills some time, plenty of time, and he fires it all the way down. 22 seconds to go in the power play on the clear by Delbarton. Back for it behind his own net is Dibble. 30 seconds to go in the period, 13 seconds to go in the power play. Possibly time for one more rush for Seton Hall. Here's Dibble. He dumps it in. Cherry stops it, leaving it for Herbst. Herbst banging in the right wing corner. Herbst along with Callahan. 15 seconds to go in the period. Teams are back at even strength. Stepping out of the box is LaPaglia. LaPaglia hovering in center. He's looking for an outlet pass. His teammates can't get one to him. Behind the net with 5 seconds. Callahan still fighting for it. And the period, it looks like it will end right here with Salamine and Callahan fighting for the puck, and that will do it here in the first period. The horn sounds, a scoreless first stanza. And I would say with Delbarton in a game against the number 2 team in the state, Seton Hall Prep, although they are ranked number 3, you're probably not too upset with a scoreless first period if you're Brian Day.
Well, the score is 0-0, but the intensity, the pace, the shots on goal, and the saves by the goaltender. That's what we saw the first period.
We are scoreless at the end of one. Delbarton and Seton Hall. The winner gets brick in the finals of the Tournament of Champions, and we're coming back with our intermission show after this on CN8.
Hope you're enjoying the parochial championship game here on CN8 as the first period has come to a close. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mick Moninghoff. And this year, well, once again, Seton Hall Prep and Delbarton, the top 2 teams in parochial hockey. And Mike Morial from the Star-Ledger joins us. Mike, it seems like the balance of power hasn't shifted now for 3 straight years.
No, that's right, Mick. Seton Hall Prep has had dynamic teams the past 3 years. Peter Herms and co-coaches Peter Herms and John Walshaw have done an outstanding job with the club. The defensemen have been outstanding, and this year in particular, you have a dynamic first line. Brady Crooks, Brandon Doria, E.J. Salamine have really lit it up for the club. It's pretty much a senior-oriented team, especially on defense with Eddie Caldwell and John Dibble. They seem to lead the pack back there. But besides that, the second line is a group of underclassmen. They've done a nice job this year, and they're going to need some assistance in this game to beat a tough Delbarton team. Delbarton is up and coming. For the past 3 years, they've been in the parochial title game. They've lost to Seton Hall. But this year, there's a possibility, always a chance they may win, especially with the new system that Brian Day runs there. He has two-man forward units and 3 backers. They don't call them defensemen. 2 outer backers and a middle backer. And it's interesting to see if this system will work against Seton Hall Prep and their forwards.
Now, I would say that more and more we've seen younger coaches kind of step to the forefront. I know that Coach Herms now behind the bench more often than not. Is that really by design, something now they're trying to get a little more infusion of the newer techniques into parochial hockey?
Yeah, you see that more and more. A lot of the coaches that are up and coming now have coached club teams and have coached at a midget level, a bantam level, and are coming up to see what they can do with the high school teams. And particularly now that there are more teams coming into the different leagues, more coaches are needed, and those are the coaches that the schools are looking for. And of course, you'd want a coach with some experience. So those coaches from the Bantams and the junior leagues are coming up that way.
And we didn't get a chance to see a lot of hockey on CN8 this year, so who were some of the other teams that maybe came through the semifinals or surprised you all year long? You say, well, these programs have finally arrived.
Well, Hudson Catholic under Coach Corey Robinson did an outstanding job once again. Last year they won the National B Division, the Vancock Cup. And this year they won that the same championship. So they'll be moving up to National A next year to compete with the likes of Seton Hall, the Bricks, and the Christian Brothers Academy teams. They've done an outstanding job. Pat Verney is their leading scorer. He broke all kinds of records there and is an exceptional player. Christian Brothers Academy under Coach Mike Reynolds year in and year out has exceptional programs. And in fact, Christian Brothers Academy is the only school in the state to win 3 NJSIA sanctioned tournaments in a row before Seton Hall finally got the best of them in their 4th year there. But St. John Vianney as well, another parochial school on the rise. They've done an outstanding job. And the coach there is Mike Dowd, the brother of Jim Dowd, who played at Brick High School and is now playing in the NHL. And his son, Michael Dowd, plays for him at St. John Vianney. So it's a nice situation there. And those are a few schools that are up and coming in the parochials.
Well, we'll keep an eye on them. Mike Morial, it was always a pleasure to have you on CN8.
It's a pleasure, Mick. Thank you very much.
Mike Morial, high school hockey writer for the Star-Ledger. Well, the first period, like I say, has been completed. We'll go back upstairs to Pete and Bob. Highlights of the first period and more when we come back at Continental Airlines Arena in just a moment right here on CN8.
Welcome back to the Meadowlands, everyone. Bob Wischusen along with Peter Caggiano at the end of a scoreless first period between Seton Hall Prep and Delbarton. And for the most part, a pretty evenly played period between these two teams.
Well, it's scoreless, but it's not actionless. We've had a lot of good action tonight. Up and down, pretty even game, as you mentioned. Goaltenders playing extremely well tonight.
Let's check out some of the highlights in our first period. And for the most part, this period was an adventure, to say the least, for Prep goalie Jeff Skowronski.
Well, this even could have been a little bit dangerous here. Skowronski comes over to make the initial save, but his own teammate right there coming from the backside hits him so hard that he knees him in the back of the head and knocks off his helmet.
Obviously, Skowronski is not going to be auditioning for the Ice Capades anytime soon based on this next play.
No, here he just fans on the pass, and then it's, uh-oh, now what do I do? And the puck just stays off the line as Reynolds Forsey almost bought one right there.
And Owen Callahan had a great opportunity. Seton Hall with a chance as we close out the period.
There you see the first save, second save, and then he reaches back to hold on. Outstanding play by both goaltenders tonight.
Ross Cherry played very well in the first period, as overall did Jeff Skowronski. You can see shots on goal. We are scoreless. The Green Wave on top, 7-6. Seton Hall, a very key statistic you would figure between these two teams. Face-offs won. Seton Hall with the advantage there.
That seems to be the only big advantage on either side. What they're trying to do is play to their strengths and not to the other team's weakness. And so far, although it's been scoreless, it's been a lot of action.
And both teams 0 for 1 on the power play.
Both teams did a nice job on the power play, but credit the two defensive teams to keep the puck to the perimeter. Not very many good scoring chances.
No score between Seton Hall and Delbarton. We will be back with second period action right after this. And as you can tell, we're coming right at you. Bob Wischusen and Peter Caggiano back here live at the Meadowlands. No score between the Seton Hall Prep Pirates and the Delbarton Green Wave. Just wrapping up our first intermission. The team's about set to step back onto the ice. And just a reminder, Sports Talk with Bruce Beck will not be seen tonight. It can be seen weeknights on CN8 every weeknight at 10 o'clock. Bruce does an outstanding job with that show, but he also does an outstanding job as he's with his other gig, as he's on the road right now with the Red Storm of St. John's, as they are doing a wonderful job. They stormed through the first couple of rounds of the NCAA tournament, so tomorrow night at 10, when Sports Talk returns, Dave Sims will be your host, and I have the honors on Thursday night, so I'm looking forward to that. You can join me on Thursday night at 10. Sports Talk as well tomorrow night at 10 with Dave Sims every weeknight on CN8. Teams are back on the ice, just about set to go here in the second period. And what do you look for from a strategic standpoint from here on out from Delbarton? Do you look for anything to be changed by Brian Day?
Well, if you notice, some of those chances by somebody like a Reynolds Fossey, he's a defenseman, or a backer as they call him, yet he was making the rush. So I think what will happen is they'll play the conservative style, but when they see the break, when they see that opportunity, they will immediately make the move.
Seton Hall Prep Pirates and the Delbarton Green Wave. The winner of this game gets Brick 12 days from now in the championship game of the Tournament of Champions right here at the Meadowlands as well.
That's John Warchwell, and what a tie he has on. I've never seen John dress that bright before.
Mick Moninghoff is downstairs. Let's go down to him right now.
Well, gentlemen, I spoke to Brian Day just on the way back to the bench. I said, you want to make any adjustments in the second period? He said, no, everything's going according to plan. I said, how about the penalty kill? He said, I'm very impressed with it so far. You give a team like Seton Hall Prep a couple opportunities and then take it away, you're doing a good job. Let's go back upstairs.
Mick, thank you very much. We're just about set to drop the puck here in the second period. Owen Callahan will center things against Brandon Doria. Callahan wins the draw. Back to Max DePaglia. Sending up the right wing to Fossey. Fossey loses control, forced to scoot away from a check of Brandon Doria. And he feeds it on the left wing to Silvestri. Dibble back to chase for Seton Hall. Through center, banging it off the sideboards. Right to Fossey, who gathers, has plenty of time, and he bangs it off the boards right in front of the bench at the red line. Trying to squeeze it past Brady Crooks, but Crooks is able to spring out Doria. Doria deep. Doria's back pass blocked nicely by Lonergan. And around on the right wing, Matt LaPaglia with all the time in the world to skate it back out to center. Flip pass intended for Silvestri. Off his stick, picked up by Crooks, and he dumps it in. Chasing is Fossey. Up the left wing for Silvestri. Silvestri steps to the Seton Hall line. Tries to beat Caldwell, and Caldwell rides into the board hard. An excellent check by Caldwell. At the right point, Callahan. Squeezing one towards LaPaglia. LaPaglia battling with Caldwell. 4 players joining the fray, and the puck is frozen, and we'll have a face-off deep inside the Seton Hall zone.
Bob, I want our fans to recognize every time a new period comes, the players change ends that they defend. We're going to watch some of the action from a little earlier. Watch right there. Takes the player, rides him out nice, actually puts him down on the ice to eliminate any type of penetration by the Green Wave.
Ed Caldwell, the big senior defenseman for Seton Hall, has only 1 goal on the year, but his value to Seton Hall is certainly not in his goal-scoring ability. He can stand just about anybody up at the blue line. He did a wonderful job of riding his man out of the play there. Chasing for Seton Hall in the left wing corner is Kyle Fox. Behind the net, Fox has it taken away from him. And now Chris Ryan in the corner has it taken away from him, and here is Fox. Behind the net, Fox, centering pass, right onto the stick, and coming back the other way for Delbarton through center, and dumping it in is Ryan. Behind the net, cruising is Tuthill. Tuthill with room. Tuthill tries to squeeze one back around the other way, but it's blocked by Samarco and wound all the way around the boards, but kicked in nicely at the left wing point. And Delbarton trying to gather. Lonergan fighting for it. Chris Ryan as well, but it comes out the center, and back comes Kyle Fox, who will dump it in, and Seton Hall will change on the fly. Ross Cherry stopping it for the captain. That's Callahan. Owen Callahan up the right wing, through center, one touch by Patterson, blocked down at the line, and now we've got a whistle and a holding call. Looks like John Dibble, the big defenseman for Seton Hall, is going to go off for 2 minutes.
That didn't look like it was a, should I say, an intentional hold. He did pull him down. He did wrap his arms around him, but it wasn't something where he reached out. It wasn't something where he was intending to take the player down. And sometimes you have to credit the opposition for embellishing things to make them look real good.
Will there be times that referees will let a play go that technically by the book should maybe be a penalty call, but if the intent isn't there, you look the other way?
Well, two parts to that question. Do they do that? Yes, all the time good officials do that. But you're not judging the intent, you're judging the impact it has on the game. If it doesn't take away a scoring opportunity, if it doesn't cause an injury, if it's away from the play, you will let it go. Many times what happens is two players do it to each other, so it's even.
On the power play, Delbarton backhanded wide by LaPaglia. Comes out to the point. Silvestri on the right of the circle. Loses control momentarily, but it's kept in by Callahan. Here's LaPaglia. Drop past Silvestri. Wrist shot up over the cage. Blockered wide by Skowronski. Silvestri back to the left point. Kept in by Fossey. Fossey cross-ice pass Callahan. Top of the right wing circle. Callahan goes deep. Tries to center one. It's off the skates of McNally behind the net. Silvestri battling with Murphy. Silvestri leaves it behind the net for LaPaglia. LaPaglia deep, holding his man off. LaPaglia controlling in the right wing corner. LaPaglia fighting for it. Joining the play is Salamine. The referees are not whistling this play dead. They want the play to be kept moving, and now reluctantly at the end, it's frozen in between the skates of LaPaglia and Salamine.
Well, that's another idiosyncrasy of high school ice hockey. Just because the puck is stalled, you don't blow the whistle. You're supposed to make the players keep the puck in motion. The only time you blow the whistle on a stalled puck is if you think there's going to be additional contact, if you think there's going to be a cause of injury by somebody else joining the pile.
Bob Wischusen and Peter Caggiano. We're live at the Meadowlands. The Seton Hall Prep Pirates, the #1 seed in the parochial bracket, taking on the Delbarton Green Wave, the #2 seed in the parochial bracket. The winner gets Brick in the state championship final. Off the draw, on the power play, Callahan, shot goes wide. Rebound to the far side, picked off there momentarily by Caldwell. He cannot clear. He's trying to body the puck out of the zone. Salamine joins the fray. In front of the Delbarton bench, and it's kept in nicely by Silvestri. Works his way around Caldwell. Behind the net, he's loose. Backhanded pass into the skates of Salamine, who's able to clear it all the way down. 40 seconds to go on the power play, 11 and a half minutes to go in the second period.
That time Owen Callahan was sitting at the right point waiting for that pass, but good play by the Seton Hall defense to break it up.
On the right wing, Reynold Fossey across the line, holds up right of the circle. Behind the net, trying to force one to Lonergan. Past him, but to LaPaglia. Back to the point. Shot on Skowronski, and he sticks it to the right wing corner. Two Delbarton players, LaPaglia and Silvestri, both battling with Caldwell. Comes back to the point. Big drive, and a stop once again by Skowronski. Couple of opportunities at that point by Owen Callahan, but Skowronski up to the task both times. The power play is over. Team's back at full strength. Doria trying to work his way out of the zone. Cannot. Fossey picks it up, but it's poke check back to center. And forced to chase all the way is Callahan. So Delbarton fails to convert on the power play. 10 and a half minutes to go in the second period. We are still scoreless. Skowronski, a soft wrist shot from on the right wing from Joe Crotty, and he holds on and forces a face-off deep inside the Seton Hall zone.
There you take a look at Jeff Skowronski. Very good goaltender. He's a senior. Not a particularly big guy. As you see there, 5'9", 155. But he's a good goaltender in the fact that he comes out to break down the angle. He will challenge the shooter. And if Delbarton continues to shoot from 50 and 60 feet out, they're not going to beat Skowronski unless they get some screens in front of him, unless they get some deflections. The puck will have to be redirected. Very tough to beat Jeff from a shot at 50 or 60 feet.
Chester Patterson on the draw for Delbarton. Delbarton wins the draw back to the point. Ryan with a shot. It whistles well wide of Skowronski into the left wing corner. Loose puck in that corner. Dibble fighting for it. Silvestri behind the net. Caught up two there by Murphy, and Murphy wins the battle and comes away. Murphy straight up the center of the ice surface. His pass intended for Everins. It goes right over his stick and all the way down, and icing is called.
Brian Day, the coach of Delbarton, usually expressionless on the bench. He doesn't say a whole lot. Doesn't make facial expressions either of joy or of sadness. He's pretty much a poker face, but he's an intense person. He will talk to his players. He will guide the players. He will give instruction throughout the game to his players.
Draw one by Seton Hall. Murphy in the right wing corner. Forces it up the right wing boards. And out the center Nice play, back-checking, though, made by Joe Crotty, and he's able to force the puck back towards the Seton Hall end. Picked up there by Murphy. Cross-ice pass, intended for Crooks. Crooks will one-touch it deep into the Delbarton zone, and back to chase for Delbarton is Scott Herbst. Winds it around the boards, up the left wing, and it bounces all the way down into the Seton Hall zone where it's caught up to there by Patterson. Patterson leaves it for Crotty. Crotty out in front, losing control momentarily, loose puck in the right dot, back to the point, big drive, and it's scooped wide of Skowronski. Good opportunity there by Scott Herbst at the right point. Chris Ryan behind the net, intended for Crotty, around the left wing boards. Caught up to there by Demuth. Demuth fighting for it. Poked up the right wing boards and banged back out to center by Everins and all the way down. And once again, this will be icing against Seton Hall. So a good start to this third period. Check that. Icing is waved off and play continues for Delbarton. And the way Delbarton is playing, they'd probably rather have the play just continue. Offsides, though, on the step across by Andrew Massano. And now we have that whistle. A good start to the second period overall by Delbarton, Peter.
And very uncharacteristic of Seton Hall to just ice the puck and dump it out. As you mentioned, Delbarton for the last 3 or 4 minutes putting a lot of pressure. There's that tie of John Warchel. A lot of pressure by Delbarton against Seton Hall. Skowronski has to come up with a save here and there, but they are a little bit out of sync and just icing the puck to relieve the pressure. And I know that doesn't sit well with the coaching staff of Seton Hall Prep.
Just over 9 minutes to go here in the second period. You can see shots on goal so far in this period. Delbarton certainly carrying the play. They have 3 shots on goal, and they lead in that category for the game 10-6. Off the draw, dumped in behind the net by Silvestri. Along the right wing boards, E.J. Solomon able to carry it out to center. Has it poke checked away nicely by Silvestri, allowing Delbarton to turn momentarily. Silvestri throwing his body around in front of the 2 benches, and it looks like he's going to get 2 minutes because of that.
It's going to be an elbowing penalty. Rick Bergquist has the call. And it appears to be Delbarton.
So just what Delbarton didn't need there, Peter. We're going to get a couple of looks at this penalty taken by Silvestri.
It was the second one, not the first hit. Take a look. There's the first hit. Now watch the comeback. Right?
I thought it was Silvestri right there, but there's the penalty. You're exactly right.
One.
My mistake.
It's Chris Demuth.
Chris Demuth goes off for a couple. I thought Silvestri had gotten it, but Silvestri basically had thrown a good hit.
But, well, see what it was? It was even. Remember I told you before, sometimes if it's even, you let it go. Both guys came up with their 6 up high. Both guys hit. Both guys were okay after it. Then Chris came in as a second player and took a shot at the Seton Hall player, and that's the one that was called.
Excellent job so far for the first 15 seconds by Delbarton to kill time. Lonergan playing with Callahan and Fossey. And look at Pat Lonergan, all the time in the world, easily back to Fossey, across to Callahan. And Callahan will skate it out the center. And now he will kill some more time. The first 30 seconds of this power play, the puck has been controlled only by Delbarton. Callahan, killing time. And he dumps it out the center. Excellent job. Silvestri brings it back to Callahan. Callahan now hammers it down. Lonergan picks it up. Lonergan one-on-one. Wrist shot just wide. Silvestri on the right wing boards. Back out to center. And here is Callahan. Callahan and Fossey killing all kinds of time. And Callahan bangs it all the way down. 1 minute gone in the power play, and Seton Hall has yet to even retain the puck.
Great job by Delbarton. Seton Hall has not even gotten the puck in the Delbarton zone in the first minute of the power play.
Silvestri again causing problems in the neutral zone, but now finally stepping across the line and going deep as Saunders. At the line once again, though, able to dump it all the way down is Silvestri. What a job by Delbarton on the penalty kill.
Remember, Mick spoke with Brian Day earlier, and he said he was happy with the power play kills. Well, here you see it again.
Behind the net, Cherry out to stop. Leaves it, Fossey there, chasing after it. Solomon sends it up the left wing boards. Saunders keeps it deep. Saunders looking for Doria. Doria, Saunders, Solomon all fighting, along with Jeff Tuthill for the puck. Tuthill lays a good hit on it. Comes out to the point to Saunders. Wrist shot towards the net. Cherry makes the first stop. He makes another save. And the puck cleared into the Seton Hall bench by Reynold Fossey. 1 second to go on the power play. 6:46 to go in the second period.
So finally, Seton Hall put some pressure on the Delbarton goaltender, but Ross Cherry, the sophomore, big in between the pipes, using both pads, using his gloves, able to hold the puck away.
You can make an argument that so far that wrist shot by Lonergan that just snuck wide of Skowronski may have been just about the best opportunity either team has had on this power play, and it came shorthanded for Delbarton.
Well, Lonergan, a very smart player. He was moving from his right to his left and shot back to the right side. You can catch a lot of goaltenders napping that way.
Andrew Masano on the draw, loses it, shot through the crease by Kyle Fox, comes out to the left point, kept in by Murphy. Behind the net, Samarco and Fox, both working the boards, and now we've got a whistle and a hand pass, and it's against Seton Hall, so the face-off will come outside the zone.
Absolutely right, Bob. Seton Hall did not muster much on that power play, except for the last 10 seconds when they had a little bit of pressure right in front of Ross Cherry. Now we're going to take a look at the hand pass. There you see from one, and the first person to play it is going to be Joe Samarco, and because of that, the whistle blows.
Off the draw, coming up the right wing and flying up the right wing is Chris Ryan for Delbarton. Keeps it behind the net, but it's wound around, though, caught up to by Chris Demuth. Demuth along the left boards. Demuth drops it, and it comes back to the point. A one-timer just about fanned on at the left wing point by Tuthill, but it's kept in at the right wing point by Ryan. Tuthill backhanding it behind the net. Caught up to there by Murphy. Murphy winds it around along the near boards. Excellent job, though, once again by Masano to keep things moving in the right corner, but it comes out to Fox, and Kyle Fox lifts it clear. Onto the glove momentarily of Joe Samarco. He gloved it down, but just barely took himself offside at the line.
That's exactly what he did. He took himself offside. The puck was a little bit behind him, and he crossed the line first and pulled it in with his hand down to his stick. But he himself, his skates crossed the blue line before the puck actually crossed the blue line, so that's why there's a whistle. There you take a look at the Delbarton faithful.
Very spirited and very good crowd on hand for this game.
Two parochial schools, like I said before, only about 10 miles apart. A real rivalry.
Just under 6 minutes to play here in the second period. We are still scoreless, and you would figure as we move on, the pressure will mount in this game. Got a couple of Devil fans on hand.
They're enjoying themselves, although it's getting a little late. Must be close to their bedtime.
Face-offs so far in this period. Delbarton has done an excellent job controlling things as we're back underway, and Doria out in center in front of his own bench takes a hit, and a strong hit it was from Joe Crotty. And on the right wing now, one-touch pass, neatly done by Fossey into the Seton Hall zone. Along the left wing boards, rather the right wing boards, Crotty back to Fossey. Fossey's shot, Karams to the end board. Now on the right wing, picked up and flying up the right wing is Caldwell. Through center to Crooks. Crooks across the line, Doria. Drop pass, and neatly done. Flying in with a shot on goal is Callan. It scoots past, Cherry, and comes to the near boards now. Kept in by Crooks. He was looking for Callan. Behind the net, Silvestri. Picked off by Callan, and Callan winds it deeper, forcing Fossey to chase. Fossey behind his own net. Bangs it off the high glass and out to center, and it's corralled by Dibble in the Seton Hall end. Dibble softly off the boards for Doria. Doria, long shot from center, gloved down easily by Cherry, and he will drop it down for Silvestri. Under 5 minutes to go in a scoreless second period. Back out to center, off the stick, touched deep by Lapaglia to Lonergan. Nice sliding play by Salamine to take it off the stick of Lonergan. Silvestri out in front, off the skates of Dibble. Big shot blocked. Ryan had an opportunity and it never got through. In the far corner, Lapaglia. Out to center now, and chasing it, Doria, fighting against Callahan, comes to the near boards, and it's loose in center. Across the line, Lapaglia, trying to work deep, and again, Seton Hall up to the task. Good job by Dibble. He sends it all the way down. Cherry stops it, he covers up, and he will take the face-off.
What outstanding play back and forth. There you take a look at Ross Cherry, but the action down the other end was tremendous. If John Dibble went down and blocked the shot from the point, he was very slow getting up. It looked like the shot hit him up in somewhere in the torso part of his body. Here's a play earlier where it just scampers across the crease. And great job by Owen Callahan to clear that puck out of danger. There you see the backhand. Nice job by Ross Cherry to follow the puck, but a lot of help from his defenseman, Owen Callahan.
Seton Hall prep in the Delbarton Green Wave. fighting for the opportunity to not only win a parochial state championship, but to get to the finals of the overall state championship against Brick. The Green Wave win the face-off draw, but a one-touch icing all the way down by Tuthill, so we'll bring it all the way back down the other end. And again, the face-off will be deep in the Delbarton zone to the right of Cherry.
That's a look at the Delbarton bench. Warriors, each and every one of them.
Face-offs so far in this game, a clear advantage, at least in this period, for Delbarton. 9-2. They have the draw advantage so far in this period. And in a possession-type game like this, Peter, that could be a tremendous advantage once this thing plays out.
Absolutely. Because when you have control of the puck, you can win the game.
In the right wing corner, Eberens fighting for it. It comes out for a shot from Samarco that's stopped by Cherry. Another wheeling shot by Fox is blocked before it ever gets through. And able to break out with it is Cilia. Cilia with a wrist shot. It's blocked away by Skowronski in the far boards, against the far boards in the corner. And now we've got a penalty call, and things getting a little chippy. Players getting together. We'll have to see who drew the penalty.
It's going to be Connor McNally, number 5. That time Delbarton coming in. How to step on the player. Connor McNally had no choice but to use the stick, put it around the waist, and hook him.
You can see here Ryan carrying the play in the corner, and we'll be waiting for the penalty to be called against McNally, and it was called right there.
You can see right coming up, there's the first shot. And as the play goes right there, you see the player go down. That's Chris Ryan for Delbarton as he's hooked by Connor McNally. And Connor McNally, the junior defenseman, will sit for 2 minutes. Delbarton, who has been carrying the play, now gets a two-minute advantage. And with the game scoreless and just 3:40 remaining here in the second period, this could be awful big.
McNally for hooking at 11:20. For the most part, you're exactly right. Delbarton has carried the play here in the second period. In a scoreless game, they now have the opportunity on the power play. Callahan, listed as the middle backer, wins the face-off draw. Once again, Delbarton controls the draw. This is Fossey, right point, takes a shot, down low, one-timer just poked wide. On the doorstep was LaPaglia. He had an open net and could not put it home. Once again, Fossey at the right point, battling with Murphy, keeps it deep. LaPaglia fighting for it. Dibble joins the fray. LaPaglia comes away with the puck along the right wing boards, back to Fossey. Fossey, weak wrist shot, scoots wide of Skowronski. Along the left wing boards now, taken back in center. Callahan throws one wide. Behind the net, Fossey. Fossey controlling. Fossey being checked. Fossey loses control, tries to force one to LaPaglia, taken away by Doria. He can't clear, kept in by Callahan at the left point. Big drive, blocked by Doria. Picked up once again by Callahan. He goes deep, throws one out in front. Loose puck, cleared by Dibble momentarily. Here's Fossey's shot, wide. To the far side. And in front, looking for it momentarily, poking at it, Silvestri. And the whistle stopped play. Silvestri buried after the whistle in the slot. But Skowronski holds the fort.
There you take a look at Jeff Skowronski laying down inside the twine. He made 2 or 3 great saves there as Delbarton showing a lot of patience, not rushing the play at all. Some great work using the points. A lot of those shots that go wide on purpose. What they're looking for is a rebound or a deflection. Then you can see the plays that comes out of the corner. It's just a lot of hard work by Delbarton, spotting the open man, trying to hit the right player. Pass from Fossey goes just wide right there, and the pressure just continues by Delbarton, one shot after the other. Here we take a look at the ending play. First save. Ooh, it almost snuck through. Skowronski had to quickly sit down and lay the left leg on top of the puck.
52 seconds to go in the power play. They fight for it in the far corner, and Lonergan comes away with it for the Green Wave. Gets it back to the point. Nice step by Silvestri. Wrist shot just wide. It was tapped down momentarily by LaPaglia. He takes a big hit, could not deflect it home. And finally, Brady Crooks able to clear it all the way down for Seton Hall Prep. 2:13 to go in the period. 30 seconds to go in the power play for Delbarton.
Delbarton again using the points, using the men in the slot. They're just missing, but now it looks like it's only a matter of time. Unless Seton Hall can turn this around, they've not played the game that I expected them to play.
And turn it around, they did right there. An excellent job getting back by John Saunders to clear it all the way down. Minute 50 to go in the period, only 10 seconds to go in the power play. So if Owen Callahan, here for Delbarton, wants to get one more rush going, he better hurry. Through center, dangerous pass for LaPaglia. On the right for Fossey. Big drive, well wide of Skowronski once again. Silvestri, top of the left wing circle. Drop pass out of the zone, and that will do it for the power play. Teams back at full strength. Seton Hall holds the fort. Skowronski, a good job. 90 seconds to go in the second period. We are still scoreless. Tuthill keeps it in. Deep for Lonergan. Lonergan, crushed along the far boards, loses control. Saunders battles for it. Saunders drops it off for McNally, and McNally able to skate it to center. Across the red line, steps to Delbarton line. On the right wing to Crooks. Wrist shot, blocker down by Cherry. And back comes Delbarton. Joe Crotty in center. Crotty across the line. Crotty, pretty move. Crotty goes deep. Drop pass intended for Masano, checked away. Then back comes McNally through center, dumping it all the way down. Icing waved off as Tuthill comes back to play it. Under a minute to go in the first period. 45 seconds to go.
Sometimes you have to watch out. You can beat one man, maybe two, but very seldom are you going to be the third man, because by the time you've beaten the third man, the first or second man has recovered, is now back on top of you.
Crotty loses control behind the net. Half minute to play. It's cleared all the way out and down, and across the end line, Dibble takes an icing for Seton Hall. So Delbarton, they have been tremendous in this period, especially on offensive zone draws, really on every draw we've seen. And here's a big face-off. 27.5 seconds to go in the period, and they have a face-off deep in Seton Hall's end.
Well, the question is, are they going to try to pull back to a defenseman? Are they going to try to go forward with it? Take a look how Brian Day has his team set up. He's going to put 3 guys back and 2 guys up. 27 seconds is a lot of time. John Warchell there just glancing at the clock. He's putting out his 5 best defensive players.
There's a lonely man right there. There's a man that has not had a job to do so far tonight. Neither goal judge has had the opportunity to light the lamp. It's been a pretty easy couple of bucks those guys have collected in our second championship game. 15-13 overall. Delbarton leading in faceoffs, but they have been dominant this period. And Owen Callahan, a big offensive draw for Delbarton. 27.5 seconds to go, and now Brandon Doria looks like he's going to get chased out of the dot. Has something to say as he skates by as well. It's going to be Brady Crooks instead. Crooks and Callahan on the draw. And now once again, someone else is going to get chased, and it looks like Callahan. And now he's upset. Now why in this instance is the referee chasing these guys out of the dot?
Well, the rule is if another player comes into the circle while they're setting up, you lose your center. The second time it happens to the same team, you're supposed to get a minor penalty.
Delbarton does win the draw, and in the right corner, Lonergan fighting for it, along with LaPaglia. LaPaglia tries to fight his way out, but it's cleared out by Seton Hall, and here comes Doria. Doria with a long wrist shot in on Cherry, under 10 to play. Doria behind the net, loses control. Silvestri around the left wing boards. Easily sticked aside by Cherry, and that will do it for the second period. Both goaltenders holding the fort, but really, although we have yet to see a goal go up on the scoreboard, I would have to say that second period, for the most part, was controlled by Delbarton.
Delbarton did a great job that second period. Seton Hall had some chances, but they were infrequent. It was not sustained pressure. It was a one-time deal, and at that point, Ross Cherry was up to the task. But once again, both goaltenders playing great so far.
Intermission coming up. Nick Moninghoff will rejoin you after we take a quick break at the end of the second period. We're still scoreless between Delbarton and Seton Hall Prep, and we're coming right back to the Meadowlands on CN8 after this.
Two periods complete here at Continental Airlines Arena in this parochial championship game. Hope you're enjoying all the action this evening, coming to you on CN8. Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Mick Moddinghoff, and at this time of the year, it's always a chance to reflect, take stock, and see what's ahead. And joining me right now is Boyd Sands, the Executive Director of the NJSIAA. And Boyd, you've been the Executive Director for 5 years now, and in that time, all we have seen is an agreement with the Devils and the NJSIAA to have the championships here in this building, and I hear it's going to continue.
Yes, we're basically settled on another extension of the contract for 2 years with the Devils, and it's great for the scholastic hockey players here in New Jersey because the sport is growing. We project next year we're going to have well over 90 schools participating in ice hockey.
Did you ever think, maybe 5 years ago when you became the Executive Director, that hockey would come to the prominence that it is right now?
Not really. We recognize there were some large crowds at Menin, but at Menin Arena it was a much smaller venue than here at Continental, of course, and it's just great to see the student athletes walk into this facility, thanks to the Devils, and just look around in awe and amazement. When they went into their locker rooms, there were bags there were gifts there from the Devils, making this just a first-class operation all the way.
Of course, it only gets better for us as we'll be back here on the 28th live for the championship game, the overall hockey championship.
Well, as I've said in the past, CN8 has really showcased the student athletes of the member schools of NJSIA in recent years. Never in the history of New Jersey have scholastic boys and girls been showcased to the degree that CN8 has, at least in the last 4 years.
And we also have a lot more to go. We have basketball championships coming up. We'll have the semifinals of the TOC and also the finals as well.
Just this afternoon, we had a luncheon with the 12 teams that are participating in the Tournament of Champions. They're all champions. They all won their group championships, both boy and girl, and now we just proceed through the Tournament of Champions, which is a happy time for everyone.
Now, just to take a step back, we also had wrestling from Atlantic City, and it brings a smile to your face. There was basketball championships down there as well, and I know that there was a lot of, well, maybe some bad press if you want to get down to it. People didn't like the sight lines and the venue, the new convention center, but you were telling me you've already taken steps to rectify some situations and make things as best as possible for next season.
Well, I might be smiling here this evening, but I certainly wasn't smiling in Atlantic City on Friday and Saturday for the wrestling. It was a new venue. It was a facility that is just a replacement for the Boardwalk Convention Hall while it's being renovated. We went from the ideal at the Boardwalk Convention Hall to less than the ideal, but it was the only area that we could get for the wrestling community on the specific weekend that the wrestling championships are held. So we really thank those in attendance for their patience and their cooperation and understanding that it's just it's a time gap that we have to go through in order to get back to the Boardwalk Convention Hall.
You know, the championships will be there for one more season, the way I understand it?
Right now, we are looking for one more year, but we're also looking to make sure that there are a number of changes that take place. This coming Wednesday, our wrestling committee will have a meeting in our office in Robbinsville. We are asking the wrestling committee, which is a committee made up of coaches, athletic directors, sports reporters from across the state. We're going to ask them to make recommendations not on what went wrong, but how we can correct what went wrong and how we can make adjustments for the better next year. Then we're going to call the same committee back in a month in order to act on their recommendations. In the meantime, we're meeting with the staff at the convention center, and we have meetings with the representatives of the mayor's office in Atlantic City, who, even though they're not connected with Convention Hall, they've just been great to NJSIA.
Well, Boyd Sands, thank you for clearing up everything that we've heard, and always a pleasure to have you on CN8.
Great, thank you. Looking forward to seeing you again.
That's Boyd Sands, Executive Director of the NJSIAA. Bob and Pete back with second period highlights as we continue here from Continental Airlines Arena. Stay with us on CN8.
Alongside, we're getting ready for third period action. A scoreless hockey game so far between Seton Hall Prep and Delbarton. And basically, it's been a battle of the goaltenders so far.
Both goaltenders, Ross Cherry, Jeff Skowronski, playing tremendous. Both doing it inside the pipes for their team. That's why we're 0-0.
Well, let's take a look at some of the work that both of these goaltenders did during that second period. And we're going to start it off with Jeff Skowronski.
There you see Jeff. He sees the shot all the way from the point, uses his left leg, does a great job of kicking the rebound far to the corner.
Now, of course, Ross Cherry's turn for Delbarton.
Well, this is a nice play because Seton Hall does a good job of keeping the puck in the zone. And then on the backhand, Ross Cherry makes the save, and he gets a little help from his defenseman, Owen Callahan.
Later in the period, Delbarton did have an opportunity here on the power play. Once again, it's Skowronski.
Skowronski does a great job hugging the short side post, making the save there. The puck comes right out in front, and then it's cleared away.
Seton Hall averages 35.5 shots per game. Look at what Delbarton has done defensively to the Pirates through 2 periods of play. And really, even the shots on goal as a statistic, somewhat misleading. They're even, but I thought Delbarton got the better of the play certainly in the second period and maybe even for the game so far.
Well, I think Delbarton has sustained pressure a lot longer. They've kept the puck in the zone a lot longer. Seton Hall has gotten their shots, but it's been a one-shot deal. Down the ice, one-shot save, and then the puck comes back to their own end.
Both of these teams have been high-scoring teams during the regular season, and both are teams that can put a lot of shots on net. It's not what we've seen so far, though.
These are very potent teams, but when it comes to playoff time, here at the high school level, just like in the NHL, defense rules.
Well, the pressure will certainly build from here on out. We might be 15 minutes away from a championship in the parochial side of the bracket. We don't know. 0-0 is our score. Seton Hall and the Green Wave of Delbarton. Third period action is coming up next. Just about set for third period action. Before the third period, though, let's go downstairs. Standing by, our own Mick Moninghoff.
All right, thanks very much. Coach Pete Herms of Seton Hall Prep. Surprised it's scoreless at this point.
Well, you know, it's a defensive struggle. I mean, it's not really wide open hockey, and the thing is, you don't want to get beat by a bad bounce at this point. So, you know, if we get the breaks, we keep on pushing, hopefully we'll come out on top. But the longer the game goes on, it's anybody's game. I mean, both teams have neutralized each other pretty well, and we're just hoping for a good opportunity and hopefully prevent them from scoring. We got to stay out of the box, though. That's the most important thing.
All right, Coach. Pete Herms, let's go back upstairs.
Mick, thank you very much. Statistically, in the first period, both teams, or rather in the second period as well, both teams have done a reasonable job of staying out of the penalty box. And so far on the power play, no matter which team has been up a man, neither has really gotten great scoring opportunities. So far, Delbarton 0 for 3 on the power play, Seton Hall Prep 0 for 2.
Both teams using the power play to put some pressure on, but as we mentioned, you take a look at Ross Cherry there, scraping the ice in front of the net. That used to be done all the time by goaltenders because years ago, the Zambonis, and they even used Zambonis 30, 40, 50 years ago, did not do that good of a job. But the equipment now has become so sophisticated, the ice is perfect. But that's just an old superstition, an old habit that has been passed down from generation to generation. A goaltender will go out and skate back and forth in front of his crease, right through the crease to smooth out, just in case there's any imperfections, any bumps. He doesn't want that puck taking a bad hop.
Such a help to me as a young guy to have a guy like you that played before goalies had masks and players wore helmets. I don't even know if the sticks were curved at that point. Did they have that type of technology back in the old days?
You know what we used to do back then? And I'm dead serious about this. The old Bobby Holstan Makita method, which was to take the stick, heat it over the flame of your stove, and then put it in a doorway and close the door and bend the stick so you can get a 1.5, 2-inch hook.
In center as we are underway in what could be the decisive third period. The only way we can not have the third period be decisive is we end up still with goose eggs and go to overtime. Behind the net, Seton Hall. Early on in the third period, once again having problems controlling things from a territorial standpoint. And in center, with all the time in the world, Fossey sends it all the way down. It bounces in on Skowronski, so no icing. Dibble back to chase for Seton Hall. Dibble softly out to center, finds Crooks. Crooks to his right, and he dumps it in. Behind Cherry, back to chase Owen Callahan. Callahan along the right wing, and he bangs it back through center. Bounces onto the stick momentarily of Saunders, but it's taken away by Callahan, and down he comes. Callahan working on Saunders. Callahan winds it along the boards momentarily, got caught in his own skates, so he holds up, gets some help momentarily from Demuth, and Callahan comes away. He wins the battle. Callahan, high slot, down to Demuth. Demuth with an opportunity, but it's poke-checked away by Connor McNally. Nice play by the defenseman for Seton Hall.
That time Demuth did not have a good shot because he was a left-handed guy on the right wing, and he couldn't get it on his backhand. He had to try to tee it up on his forehand, and by the time that happened, the Seton Hall defense had collapsed around him.
Tuthill spins away from a check from E.J. Solomine, and across the line, on sides, deep with a shot. Right on net is Demuth, but up to the task once again, Skowronski. You could expect the pressure to continue to build on these two goaltenders. Weak shot in on net from the right point. Thrown on net by Ryan. Once again, Skowronski with the save. Demuth pressuring. Along with Masano. Masano and Demuth, both working behind the net for Delbarton. Skowronski out of his crease momentarily. Now he scoots back in, looking backwards beneath the cage. And watching his man, E.J. Solomine, skate at the center to Crooks. Crooks across the line. Big drive blocked before it ever got through. And a nice play by Silvestri. Behind the net, to his right, Callahan. Up the right wing boards. Demuth. Demuth loses control, though. Taken back by Crooks. Crooks leaves it, and back comes Ryan. Ryan through center, bodied off the puck nicely, though, by Dibble.
Great job by Dibble. He played the man, not the puck. The puck had already entered the zone, but he knew if the Delbarton player couldn't reach the puck was harmless.
Chester Patterson wheeling and dealing from his own blue line. Up the left wing. Pass intended for Crotty. Crotty lost control momentarily, but long enough to get it back to Patterson. Out in center now, and a backhander, and here comes Doria. Doria on the fly. Doria, hard angle shot, weakly sticked aside. Cherry got a stick on it, but a nice job getting back defensively by Reynold Fossey, and he was able to poke check it away from Doria. And now we have a whistle in the left wing corner, and a stoppage. May have been another hand pass. It looks as if the face-off will be deep in the Delbarton zone. Actually, if it was a hand pass, it would be outside the zone, so it must have been an offside play.
Either that or puck was played by a high stick is the only other thing I can think of by Delbarton, which caused the whistle, and the face-off would remain right there. Here we take a look at Owen Callahan, the backer as he is called, 6'0", 190, big boy.
Very interesting, this system that Delbarton plays. We talked about it earlier, Peter. They play a 2-forward, 3-backer system. And actually, in talking to head coach Brian Day of the Green Wave, he has said that in a system that some people would think would probably be more defensive-oriented, it's actually more offensive-oriented, and it actually scored some of the prettiest goals this year out of this system.
And I think that comes because the players he has are very good players who use the system well, and they have the skill and ability to make the system work.
Lonergan lost control in the offensive zone, but it's gathered in center by Callahan. Over to Fossey, who dumps it in. Behind the net, Skowronski out to stop. Leaves it for Murphy. Up the right wing boards. Nice job pinching by Silvestri. LaPaglia in there as well. Silvestri comes away with it, but it's taken away. His pocket picked by Samarco. Samarco across the line, a 1-on-3. It always seems as if Delbarton is back to quell any Seton Hall rush. Dibble, weak shot towards Cherry, sticked away. Backhanded around the boards by Herbst at the right wing point. Kept in by Murphy, but Silvestri bangs it out. Kept in, though, by Murphy. The play is onside. Finally, Silvestri able to muscle it past Murphy, and the play taken offsides now. Doria picked up the loose puck, and Doria turns around and has some words momentarily for Masano, who got a stick up in Doria's face a bit there.
High up in the shoulder area, but it was just as the whistle was blowing for the offsides. Now you take a look at the star Brandon Doria. We spoke about him a little bit in the open. 40 goals this year, having an outstanding season. He is a real gifted player. Take a look at some of the action. See, it just crosses the blue line. Doria brings it back in. He's going to take a stick up high right in the neck area, but no call, and rightly so, no call. And the game continues.
Underway once again in the defensive zone for Delbarton. They clear it out to center. Saunders sends it in, a delayed offsides call, which gives Tuthill all the time in the world. As just now Brady Crooks clears the zone, Tuthill sends it all the way down, and this will be icing. Bad play there by Tuthill. Had time to set something up for Delbarton, and instead threw it to the wide far boards. So with 10:33 to go in a scoreless third period, the faceoff comes deep down into the Delbarton zone.
Watch some of the action here. You're going to see two players, neither one looking at each other. They're teammates. They see a white jersey, but they figure, I'm okay. I don't have to worry about bracing myself for a hit. But neither guy was looking at the player. They peripherally saw the other player. They connected knee to knee, and boy, that could be dangerous.
The diminutive Pat Callan, the freshman, number 16, out there with Doria, who will center this line. Brady Crooks out there as well. Offensive zone draw. An opportunity here for Seton Hall. Doria on the draw with Callahan, and Callahan wins it once again, and it's forced back out to center where Crooks gathers and gives it away now to DeMuth. DeMuth tries to dump it in, fans on it, and actually catches up with his own clearance. DeMuth in the left wing corner, loses control, back out to Callahan, big drive to the high glass, and it zips wide of Skowronski. Back to the left point, Fossey throws one through the crease, picked up by Callan and banked back out to center. The play offsides momentarily, and now the delayed call waved off as Callahan clears it in.
If Callahan got that shot on net, that would have been awful tough for Skowronski to save. Callahan was moving in, had full force when he let that one go.
Clear out all the way down by John Saunders. It banks right into the heart of Ross Cherry's crease, which creates an offensive zone draw once again for Seton Hall. But as we pointed out multiple times so far tonight, Peter, from the face-off standpoint, it has been domination by Delbarton.
They've done a great job on the face-offs, but you have to look at not only once the draw comes out immediately, what do the players do after that? Where does the puck go? Many times the centers will tie each other up, and it's the auxiliary players, your wings that come in, that dig the puck out and either feed it back to the defenseman or feed it up to the point.
Everins on the draw in the offensive zone for Seton Hall. Tries to win it back to Fox, takes it himself. Everins behind the net. Everins cruising, has time, gets it back out to the point. Big drive by Murphy. Through a screen, but stopped by Cherry. To the far side, Tuthill runs Everins off the play, and out in center, up the left wing, is Chris Ryan. Ryan loses control. Patterson couldn't catch up for Delbarton. Banging right in front of the scorer's table. Across the line, though, comes Everins. Cross-ice pass. Kyle Fox with a shot, and it's stopped by Cherry.
What a great save by Ross Cherry. He knew the pass was coming across. He anticipated, he slid to his right, and was able to put his whole body in front of the shot.
Certainly the best opportunity, seemingly so, for Seton Hall in this game. Their 16th shot on net. Cherry has stopped them all. Through center, dumping it all the way down Delbarton. So it's an icing call. And now Seton Hall seemingly starting to take some of the momentum back.
Seton Hall was not going to be down that long. This is just real good pressure. And Fox does a nice job coming in on the other side. Here he gets the pass on his stick. Quick shot. Notice how Cherry started moving that way early, makes the save with the right pad, and then the rebound goes into the corner. Beautiful play.
Cherry, a young goaltender, as you pointed out, this season a .191 goals against average in league play. It's already been lowered to .176 with his postseason play in getting Delbarton to this parochial championship game. And he went butterfly there and was up to the task. Doria wins the face-off to Murphy. Down deep for Solomon for Seton Hall. Thrown out in front, picked off by Fossey, off the boards, and out. It is an offsides play. Murphy tried to kick it back onside with his right skate, but could not keep it in at the left point.
He tried to be cute on that play. He missed with the stick, but he used his left skate. The puck just came over the line. He tried to keep it in, but our official right on the blue line made the call.
Seton Hall bouncing back a little bit in terms of our face-off statistic. They won 4 out of the last 5, and there you get an opportunity to take a look at Dave Murphy. And in high school, you're going to have a senior back on your blue line at 6'2", 185. Boy, that's pretty imposing when you put him 3 or 4 inches higher on skates.
That's middle linebacker size.
That's NHL size. Doria with the neutral zone face-off. Callahan wins it. Back to Lonergan. Lonergan can fly. Lonergan gets a step. Lonergan goes deep, taken down, no call. He may have just lost an edge. Back comes E.J. Solomon. Solomon through center. Has it taken away by LaPaglia. LaPaglia feeds Lonergan across the line. Lonergan tries to step around Murphy, and it's poke checked away. Silvestri cross-ice pass for Fossey, who dumps it in. Behind the net, McNally. Around, Silvestri picks it off. Silvestri, wrist shot, stopped by Skowronski. To the far side, Doria. Doria comes up with the loose puck and feeds Crooks through center. Crooks across the Delbarton line. Crooks holds up on the left wing. Has his pass deflected deep. E.J. Solomon picks it up. Back to Crooks. Top of the left wing circle. Crooks with a wrist shot. It's deflected. Up, over, and out of play. Crooks for a moment thought he was going to have a scoring opportunity, but I believe it was LaPaglia that got his stick in there, forcing the deflection.
Crooks took a little too long to get that shot off. He needed time to set it up on his forehand, and by that time, the Delbarton defenseman had gotten his stick in the way. What has to happen is as soon as it gets on your tape, as soon as it gets on your stick, you have to let it go.
8 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the third. We are scoreless. The winner moves on to the last round of the Tournament of Champions, hosted by the Devils here at the Meadowlands, and they have done a wonderful job opening up the Continental Airlines Arena to the high school kids. Dibble off the draw with a big shot that's deflected wide. Comes to the near boards. Picked up there by Cilia, and Cilia upended in center by Dibble. Dibble lets a pass go past him, intended for Kyle Fox all the way down. Tuthill chasing for the green wave behind his own net. Leaves it for his line mate Ryan, and Ryan for Herbst. Herbst back to Ryan, and banked out to center. Dibble with a nifty little poke check. He's able to spring Ibarins. Ibarins across the line. Intended for Samarco. Samarco and Ibarins both fighting for it, and it comes back out to center. And played right back into the Delbarton zone where it's picked up by Ryan. Ryan will bang it in. And Delbarton will change. Skowronski stops it behind his own net for Caldwell. It's banged around the boards. Cilia fighting for it with Everins. And in center, picked up momentarily by Herbst. He dumps it right back out into the Seton Hall zone, moving it down towards 7 minutes to play in regulation.
Delbarton seems very comfortable just reaching the red line, dumping the puck in, and then trying to use their forecheckers and their speed to outmuscle Seton Hall to get their advantage.
Here's Fossey across the line. Has it poke-checked away from him, forcing Masano to retreat deeper for Callahan to Silvestri. The play was offsides, and Delbarton needed to clear the zone. Callahan across the line now. This is Masano losing control, checked by Dibble, and the puck picked off by Caldwell. He tried to spring Callan out off the bench, but it just snuck off of Callan's stick, and back comes Delbarton. Across the line, Crotty. Crotty drops one for his line mate Masano. It's played wide. Comes back to the point, though. Ryan sends it deeper. Cute little back between his legs pass attempt by Crotty, but it's picked off by Seton Hall, and out they come. Brady Crooks stepping to the green wave line. Across the line. Takes on 2 men. Backhands one through the crease, and it goes wide of Cherry. Back out to neutral ice on the carom. Callan sends it towards the green wave line. Taken there by Crotty. Crotty with a cross-ice pass for Callahan. Callahan through center for Masano, and Masano will dump it down, and once again, Delbarton will change.
Quick changes by Delbarton. They're changing their players about every 45 to 60 seconds.
LaPaglia steps to the line. LaPaglia deep. Taken down, no call. Throws one out in front. Loose puck cleared. All the way down. Picked up by Doria, and this will be icing. Icing against Seton Hall. So with 5:42 now, with no score still on the board, Peter, every face-off, every possession, every potential turnover becomes that much bigger for both teams.
Well, 5:42, both teams playing their heart out. Did we mention overtime?
We mentioned it during that second intermission, and, you know, 15 minutes of hockey obviously is a lot to play, but now we're down to the last 5:42, and you never know.
To give our fans an idea of what will happen if this game is tied after the next 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
Lonergan wins the face-off back to the point. Herbst shot on net, but Skowronski makes the save. Tuthill winds it deeper, looking for LaPaglia. Taken away from him and skated up the left wing boards and out to center. Solomon looking for Doria. In center, though, recovering. Across the line, Lonergan. Lonergan for LaPaglia. LaPaglia deep. Lonergan after it. Lonergan throws one towards the net. A hand pass called. As LaPaglia went down, he slid it back towards Lonergan with his right hand. And so on the turnover, we'll have a face-off out in neutral ice.
Wow, can you imagine what would have happened if he put that shot in and they would have had to wave it off? Half of this building would have been awful upset, but that was the right call because it was a hand pass right to the stick of the other Delbarton player. Watch the action right here. Right there with the hand. And who comes in as he's being pulled down. So now what you're getting are the officials pretty much, and the puck did go in after the whistle, the officials putting the whistle in their pocket because unless something is real obvious, you're not going to get a whistle now.
It would be very difficult, I would expect, to call a penalty on either team at this stage of the 0-0 game.
Unless it's real obvious, unless it causes an injury or is a definite scoring opportunity taken away. I mentioned overtime before. The procedure will be a 10-minute sudden death overtime, and then if we're still tied, a shootout.
Off the draw, in center, Demuth chasing after it, behind the Seton Hall line, zone, or end line. It's centered out in front, taken away by Crooks, and Crooks will skate at the center. Crooks with a left wing pass for Doria, across the line. Poke checked away from him, but picked up by Samarco. Towards the net, but into the right wing corner. Crooks fighting for it. Knocked down hard by Silvestri, and the puck comes towards the line. Kept in, but now an offsides play. Murphy, for a moment, thought he had kept the play onside, but he was just across the line.
What a hit by Silvestri right there. Using his shoulder, a textbook classic hockey hit, leveled the Seton Hall player.
4:45 to go in regulation time. Delbarton with 18 shots on goal. Seton Hall with 16 shots on goal. Nobody's put one home yet, and there is that hit by Silvestri on Crooks.
This is just great. Notice he uses his right shoulder, shoulder-to-shoulder contact. The Seton Hall player a little off balance because he was just handling the puck, so he didn't have his legs underneath him well, and he really took the brunt of that hit. Brady
Crooks is going to have somebody adjust his belt. Get a look at number 7 there, right next to the Bud Light sign. Losing his pants, folks. 4.5 minutes to go, but there's no time to pull your pants up at this stage of a championship game. We are scoreless with 4.5 left. Here's Callahan at his own line. Steps to the red line. Now to the Pirate blue line. Callahan in. Callahan trying to work his way around Murphy, and it's taken away, and back comes Brady Crooks. Crooks across the line. Crooks trying to work his way past Fossey, but Fossey beats him to it. Lonergan on the right wing board. Lonergan loses control momentarily, and now has to buy himself some more time. Lonergan up the left wing for LaPaglia. LaPaglia trying to scoop by the defense, takes it behind the net. LaPaglia in the left corner, loses control, and back comes Crooks. 2-on-3 the other way for Seton Hall. Crooks across the line, big drive, stick to the right wing corner by Ross Cherry. Picking it up, Andrew Massano coming back the other way for Delbarton. Here's Lonergan now. Lonergan across the line. Lonergan goes deep. Lonergan winds it behind the net for LaPaglia. LaPaglia fighting with Samarco along the far boards. Kept towards the net. A soft shot by Ryan, sticked away by Skowronski. And we remain scoreless with 3.5 minutes to go in the game, and the pressure continues to build. We're pretty much in sudden death overtime right now because I think one goal will win this game. That's an excellent point. Dibble goes deep. Behind the net, Kyle Fox. Fox in the corner. Fox fighting with Ryan. These kind of battles could cause one team or the other to lose this game or win it. Murphy gathers the loose puck in center for Seton Hall. Clearing it up the right wing boards, intended for Everins. Taken back across the line, though, by Crotty, but played right back out to neutral ice. Picked up there by Ryan. He bangs a long one in on Skowronski. Easily stick to the left wing corner. Picked up behind the net by Massano. Massano, along with Crotty, fighting for it. Murphy by himself. Here's Massano, backhander, stopped at the left post by Skowronski. Ryan keeps it in. Deep for Crotty. Crotty being checked by Murphy. Murphy rides into the boards. Loose puck picked up by Fox. Fox trying to work his way past Crotty, and he does. Fox banks it off the boards out the center. Picked up there by Ryan and dumped right back in. Here's Murphy. Murphy for Seton Hall out the center. Intercepted by Lonergan. 2 minutes to go. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the third period. We remain scoreless. Crotty and Dibble fighting for it in the left corner. Crotty comes away with it to the point to Hurst. Back deep, taken away by Everins, and through center, here's Doria. Across the line. Doria beats his man. Doria still in control. Doria, wrist shot, saved by Cherry. The rebound loose, and it's taken back by Lonergan. For the first time tonight, Brandon Doria got loose, and Cherry made the save. Nothing we haven't seen all night. Both goaltenders again playing spectacular. Ross Cherry coming up with the biggest save of the night right there. Owen Callahan behind his own net, under 2 minutes to play. We come up on the last 90 seconds of regulation time. We are scoreless. The parochial championship in New Jersey high school hockey on the line. Here's Fossey with a wrist shot from the high slot that's blocked away by Skowronski. Skowronski using the right arm, knocking that shot away.
Reynolds Fossey from about 30 feet out almost did it.
Crooks across the line. Poke checked away by Fossey to Lonergan. Lonergan loose. Lonergan behind his own net. Lonergan with time. Bounces one off the right wing boards intended for Demuth. Demuth across the line. Working. Demuth. Drop pass. Silvestri has it go off his skates, and it's taken away by Seton Hall back out to center. Ryan recovers. 1 minute to play in regulation time. Dumped in by Seton Hall. They will make a change on the fly. Cherry loses a stick momentarily, but plenty of time to regain control. In center, here is Silvestri to the red line. Stepping to the Pirate line. Throws a shot wide. Silvestri will chase behind the net. Bumps with Murphy. Silvestri loses control. Comes up the board. Bounces right back to LaPaglia, who sends one through the crease. Back comes Crooks. 30 seconds to go in regulation time. Crooks across the line. Crooks to Everins. Everins loses control, and it's banked back out to neutral ice. Recovering there is McNally. Offsides.
Wow.
22.5 seconds to go, and this is about as good as it gets. Let's go downstairs to Mick Moningham.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. You talked about an overtime shootout. Well, first they have a 10-minute overtime. If there's no advantage, the coaches will submit 10 names. Each team will shoot up to 5, a 1-1-1 kind of thing. If there's no advantage, the second 5, well, that's when the shootout becomes sudden death. Let's go back upstairs.
You made a very good point. Thanks a lot, Mick. Earlier, Peter, we're in sudden death right now. The next goal wins this game, whether it comes in the next 22 seconds or in overtime. One of these two teams scores at this point. It's over.
And both teams, it's a shame one team is going to lose this game, but both teams have played very, very well tonight. They've given their heart to this game. They are playing harder now with 22 seconds to go than they did in the first period.
Bob Wischusen and Peter Caggiano. We're live at the Meadowlands. We're scoreless in the championship of the parochial division of high school hockey in New Jersey. 15 seconds to go. Across the line comes Demuth for Delbarton, but quickly back out to center. Seton Hall able to turn the play. Taken back, though, by Delbarton with Ryan sending it in. 5 seconds to go in regulation, and it looks like we are headed to overtime. Herbst gathers in center. There's the buzzer, and there will be at least one extra session before we go to a shootout. You heard Mick Moningham and Peter Caggiano both explain the scenario for overtime. And right now, Mick Moningham is standing by downstairs. But we're going to take a quick break before we talk to Mick. And when we come back, we will have overtime for you. Seton Hall and Delbarton. We're coming back to the Meadowlands right after this. We're back at the Meadowlands at Peter Caggiano. Boy, the fans have no idea, as it turns out, how close we came to having this game end in regulation.
First, Brandon Doria, great shot. Ross Cherry squares himself up, makes the save with his chest.
Here's the wild one.
Look at this shot. This is Reynolds Fossey. He makes a move to his right, takes a quick shot. Look at this. It goes off the shaft of his stick, above the blocker. That stick is only 1 inch wide at that point. It hits the stick and deflects away from the goal.
Now, the past couple of years, Delbarton has lost in this very game to Seton Hall Prep. That's how close they came to finally beating the ghosts of the last couple of years. And you can see they've outshot Seton Hall 22-18. They have done a good job with face-offs. Overall, I would say that the better of the play has been gotten in this game by Delbarton. And that Reynold Fossey shot off of the shaft of Skowronski's stick is that close to Delbarton beating those ghosts of the last couple of years and getting over the hump against Seton Hall Prep.
1 inch. That's all the width of that stick is above his blocker right hand.
10 minutes up on the clock. This is overtime. A trip to the championship game, the undisputed championship game in New Jersey against Brick on the line, a parochial championship on the line, and it is sudden death. First goal wins. If we're still tied at the end of these 10 minutes, we'll have a shootout. Overtime underway. Caldwell back to chase. Up the left wing boards, taken by Silvestri. Silvestri behind the net. Silvestri loses control. Doria picks up the loose puck, and back comes Seton Hall. Doria to center. Doria steps to the Delbarton line. Doria has it poked off his stick. For a moment there, neither Delbarton player along the board saw the puck. And Solomon almost had an opportunity, but it's taken through center now, off of the stick of Silvestri by Delbarton, in on Skowronski, and back to Chase Dibble.
Nice to see that both teams are coming out exactly the way they ended the third period.
Callahan and Fossey in their own end. The two defensemen split as Callahan will wait for help. 1 minute into overtime. Callahan to his left, straight up the middle of the ice surface. One touch, the pass intended for Lonergan, off the stick in center of Crotty, but it's icing, and the face-off, and every face-off now so crucial, comes deep into the Delbarton zone.
Well, they had Lonergan hanging at the blue line, trying to get him all alone on a breakaway, but when you play that dangerous game and it doesn't work, here's the consequence. The face-off comes all the way back down in your zone in front of your own goaltender.
9 minutes and 1 second to go in overtime. Seton Hall with 19 shots on net. Delbarton with 22. The winner wins the parochial championship in New Jersey. It is sudden death. Andrew Massano and Everins on the draw. It's won by Delbarton, and skating at the center is Crotty. Crotty 1-on-2. He gets some help now. Wrist shot, glances to the high glass behind Skowronski. Comes to the left boards, sent all the way out. In center, Ryan. Ryan lets his men get onside and dumps it in. Solomon with a one-touch pass to Everins, off the boards behind the net. Loose puck on the far side, caught up to by Fox, who sends it out to center, and a nifty little one-touch to spring Everins across the line, but the play is offside.
Again, both teams coming out hard. They're not sitting on their heels. They're not waiting to see what the other side is doing. They're coming out trying to win this game, trying to put the first goal in and send their team to the championship, the overall championship, on the 28th of March.
I always picture what must be going through the minds of the goaltenders in this situation, knowing that one goal sends their team home for the season and basically, ends their run. It must be a tremendous amount of pressure on these kids.
But goaltenders can take it. They're like left-handed pitchers. They're a little bit different. They're used to this pressure.
90 seconds into overtime. We are obviously still scoreless. The first goal wins it. Off the draw, here's Silvestri winding it around the boards for Delbarton. In the left corner, Saunders and Solomon being hounded by Lonergan. Joining the play, Demuth. Demuth and Lonergan. It's loose along the boards. The referees are not going to stop play at this point. 8 minutes to go in overtime. Here's Silvestri. Silvestri loses control. It's picked up by McNally and back out the center. And here comes Doria once again. Doria by himself. Doria to his right. Drop pass intended for Solomon off his stick, and back comes Lonergan. Here comes Delbarton. They have numbers. Across the line. Lonergan deep. He's ridden off the play beautifully by Murphy. McNally behind the net. He's fighting with Lonergan. Oh, what an opportunity Delbarton would have had there.
Murphy practically saved the game right there, because that was a 2-on-1 by Delbarton. Murphy was able to catch up and prevent the pass from being made.
Saunders to Doria. Doria's alive. Behind the net. Out in front. Shot and a save. Ross Cherry absolutely stones Brady Crooks to keep things alive for Delbarton in overtime. What a save by Cherry.
Cherry big to the task again. Brandon Doria, great job by centering the pass from behind the net. Brady Crooks, from about only 10 feet out, makes a great save. Here's Crooks as he takes the puck behind the net. Backhand pass. right from the slot, right in the hash marks, which is exactly 15 feet out. Great save. Here's another look at it from up top. There's the shot. There's the pass. One time, look at the left glove. Juggles a little bit, but then he pounces on the rebound. Wow.
What a show these two goaltenders have put on so far tonight. 42 total shots between these two teams, and goose eggs on the scoreboard. 7:27 to go in overtime. Off the draw, one by Seton Hall, out in front, loose puck. It's still loose, picked up by Everett. One shot, a save by Cherry. Another shot by Everett, and another stop by Cherry. The Delbarton fans on their feet on the far side of the ice. They know that Ross Cherry is the only reason their team is still alive right now. How frustrated must Scott Everett be?
Good pressure again by Seton Hall. Ross Cherry, remember, he's just a sophomore. Watch all this activity. One save, two saves right there. And then, again, the defense comes around to help out. And it's tough to see the puck through all the legs. Great save right there. Another one with the chest. Then he holds on.
You know, some might look at a box score and a scoreboard in the paper the next day of a 0-0 hockey game and think to themselves, that must have been some boring game. But boy, have we had a good one tonight.
Couldn't ask for anything better.
Face-offs all Delbarton here in the overtime, but Fox wins this one and forces a shot just wide. Ryan on the far side for Delbarton, squeezes it out to center. Gets it to LaPaglia. LaPaglia across the line, his shot blocked. It floats in on Skowronski, and wisely, he covers up. Catches a face full of snow for covering up, but he does force the face-off. 7:05 to go in overtime.
This will give the goaltender a little break on the other end, Ross Cherry, because now the pressure's in front of Jeff Skowronski. There you see him on his knees, not even getting up. That's how tired he is. He's already played about 52 minutes so far, about 48 minutes so far, and that's a lot for a high school kid. John Warchol, coach of the Seton Hall Pirates.
I'm sure he's been through at least a few of these at some point during his long career.
You're talking about John or Skowronski?
I hope for Skowronski's sake that he's had at least a couple of these, but not too many. In center, off the draw, here is Silvestri. Trying to force it across the line, and he does. Onside, but it's taken right back by Seton Hall. Dumped all the way down by Caldwell, and this will go for icing. So once again, Delbarton, they have had a pretty decided edge overall in the game. From the face-off standpoint, they're going to get another one deep in the Seton Hall zone.
Oh, what's bad about this for Seton Hall, previous to the recent two face-offs, the second one now going to happen right in front of Skowronski, they were putting on all the pressure. Now it's going to be two face-offs in a row deep in their end. Now they have to work again. Now Skowronski's going to have to rise to the task as Ross Cherry did on the other side.
Bob Wischusen and Peter Caggiano. We're live at the Meadowlands. 6:52 to go in sudden death overtime. The parochial championship in New Jersey on the line. We're scoreless. The Seton Hall Prep Pirates, they've won it the past couple of years over this Delbarton team. And Delbarton has played a great game tonight. Saunders off the faceoff, around the dasher to the right point. Kept in momentarily by Callahan and now played into the bench by Caldwell. So Caldwell with the icing and Caldwell now with the errant pass into the bench, forcing a couple of defensive zone faceoffs for his team.
Well, I'm sure Coach Herms and Coach Warchel will talk to him about that.
No time now.
Not now, but he had the right idea. He needed to get the puck out of the zone. As we see Seton Hall picking up the intensity on the faceoff. But you don't want to put it up high and in front of your own bench, in front of both benches, there is no glass.
Doria wins the 5th straight faceoff for Seton Hall. He beat Callahan for that one, and Seton Hall able to clear the zone. Silvestri back to Fossey. Fossey springs Demuth. Demuth tries to step past the defense of Saunders, out in front and a one-timer. Redirection by Lonergan goes wide. Silvestri back in front, intended for Lonergan, comes to Fossey, big shot, loose puck off the first save from Skowronski, and it's taken back, and here comes Brandon Doria the other way. Doria, big drive, just wide. The loose puck comes to Demuth, and back we come the other way. Silvestri across the line. Drop pass for Lonergan, or Demuth. Demuth takes it. Demuth deep. Cross-ice pass off the skates of Silvestri, back to Fossey. Knuckleball, stopped by Skowronski. Murphy around the dasher, and back out to neutral ice.
Bob, they say overtime is exciting, and boy, is it exciting tonight. Both teams really stepping up the pace.
Here's Crooks. Crooks holding. Crooks dropping it. McNally takes it deep. Behind the net, Silvestri gets it to Fossey, back to Silvestri, and Delbarton with an opportunity to clear the zone, and they do that. Silvestri out to center, picked up by Lonergan, He retreats, very deliberate with the puck. Lonergan with a cross-ice pass for Fossey. 5.5 minutes to go in overtime. Fossey in front of the Delbarton bench. Up the right wing to Tuthill. Tuthill loses control, and back comes Seton Hall. Doria across the line. Upended, no call. And that's what happens in overtime. You made mention of that earlier, Peter. You are not going to get the whistle to come out of the pocket at this point.
That was a marginal play. It was 60 feet away from the goal, not in overtime.
Always defending those officials. It's a fraternity, folks. This will be icing. Fossey sends it all the way down, just under 5 minutes to play, and Seton Hall, they've taken back that face-off advantage. Now they're going to have an opportunity in the offensive zone.
They've won the last 5 in a row. Now the face-off is back down in front of Ross Cherry. We're in a big deal here, because I say that only because the players are now starting to get tired. They've played 50 minutes. Both goaltenders, and that equipment gets awful heavy. Those pads are 12 inches wide, each one of them. They're about 30 inches high, and that doesn't count the chest protector and shoulder guards and everything else.
Off the draw, loose puck. Fox fires one towards the net, blocked before it got there. LaPaglia clears it to the far boards. And here's Crotty in center for Delbarton, to his right. Crotty to the Seton Hall line, takes it deep. Crotty drop pass, intended for LaPaglia, taken away by Eberens. And Seton Hall able to force it out to center. Here is Eberens. Eberens to the red line. Eberens to the Delbarton blue line. Eberens goes deep, throws one in towards Cherry. Right pad save, back to Callahan. Shot in, and it may have caught the post. It looked like it caught the post. Caldwell got a wrist shot. It deflected in front. We'll have to take another look at this one. But Ross Cherry may have been bailed out by a goalie's best friend.
Well, that was deflected in front, but it did hit the near post. We're going to take a look at it right there. Clang! And then it drops right there. Boy, oh boy.
Right to Ross Cherry.
There's the shot. Bing!
Check that. It hit Tuthill. Jeff Tuthill, the defender, was in the right place at the right time. From our vantage point, it looked as if it may have made contact with the iron, but what an opportunity for Seton Hall there.
You get the view from behind.
Good save again by Cherry.
That's what happened. Ross Cherry made the save, then it hit Tuthill, and then Cherry was able to hold on to the puck. Because I didn't hear a clang. Usually when it hits the post, you'll hear that distinct ping, and that was not audible. Lonergan
off the draw for Delbarton, winds it behind his own net, intended for Fossey, who picks it up there. 4 minutes and 15 seconds away from a shootout. Here's Lonergan up the left wing. Lonergan across the line. Shot stopped by Skowronski. Rebound loose. Kicked in the corner by Masano. Masano without his stick momentarily, but they get it back to the point. Here's Callahan. Wrist shot through traffic. Knocked down and cleared. Caldwell, the big defenseman, forechecking, trying to hound Callahan. Callahan easily spins away from him, but gives it away to Crooks. Brady Crooks winds it deep, but Callahan with time to retreat. 3:45 to go in overtime. This is sudden death. If we remain scoreless after the next 3 minutes and 40 seconds of action, we'll go to a shootout. That may be the only way either of these teams puts a puck past these two goaltenders. On the left wing, Seton Hall forces it out to center. Delbarton on the turnover. Lonergan picks it up, and back into his own zone goes Silvestri. He will retreat. Up the right wing, here's Ryan. Ryan across the line, a long shot deflected down. Behind the net, McNally winds it around the board. Lonergan, rather hurt, keeps it in. Touch pass out in center, picked off by Doria, and Brandon Doria for Seton Hall takes it back the other way. Doria across the line. Doria trying to beat the defense, drops it off. Crooks with a shot, saved by Cherry. The rebound loose. Trying to force it in front is Fox, and the officials lose sight of the puck. Seton Hall very upset. The near side official lost sight of the puck, apparently. It may have been under Cherry, or at least so he thought. We'll have to get another look. Seton Hall apparently thought that puck was still loose.
Well, here's Doria. Great play. He takes the stick in the face, and the shot comes from the side. Now here's the danger. Right there, the backhand. The puck's going to squirt free. It's in the crease right there. Oh, now I know why Seton Hall's upset. Delbarton got away with it right there. That was Chris Ryan. Not only does he gather the puck, he gathers the puck while it's in the crease.
Are you allowed to do that if you are prone in your own crease to kind of shovel the puck over towards your goaltender?
You can do that, but that's not what he did. He fell on it. Okay? But again, sometimes in overtime games, the referee may not have gotten a good look, and 9 out of 10 times you're going to give the goaltender the benefit of the doubt.
And now it appears that John Warchel and Peter Herms will call their timeout. Seton Hall's Pirates will gather at the bench 2 minutes and 53 seconds away from a potential shootout here in the Parochial Championship at the Meadowlands. Just a reminder that CN8 Sports will be right back here at the Continental Airlines Arena. We will have the NJSIAA New Jersey Devils Hockey Finals that will come your way Sunday, March 28th, live at 6 o'clock. Tonight's winner, Brick has already won. We're awaiting the winner of this game. Brick will square off against either Delbarton or Seton Hall for the ultimate prize. That is an undisputed state hockey championship. Again, the NJSIAA New Jersey Devils Hockey Finals, March 28th, 6 o'clock, right here at the Meadowlands, and only on CN8.
The only thing you can hope for now, Bob, is that a good goal wins this game. You don't want a cheap goal, a deflection off somebody. You want it to be a shot that rifles in, bulges the twine in the back of the net, and there's no doubt about it.
Very good point. Very good point. And almost you'd like to see it be a goal that neither of these two goaltenders could do anything about. The last thing you'd want is for one of these two goaltenders to walk out of here tonight feeling like they got beat, because neither deserves to lose.
That would be a shame, because both these young fellas, Jeff Skowronski, Ross Cherry for Delbarton, they've been magnificent.
26 shots for Seton Hall. 26 shots for Delbarton. 2:53 to go in overtime. We are scoreless at the Continental Airlines Arena. Owen Callahan and Brandon Doria on the draw. Doria wins it. Here's a shot at the point. It's blocked down, and back the other way comes Silvestri. Out to chase Skowronski. He plays it away, but it's picked up by LaPaglia. Skowronski needs to retreat. Here's a shot from Fossey from the point. It triples just wide on the deflection. Silvestri in the left corner. Wheeling. Silvestri forces one towards LaPaglia, taken away by Saunders and played out to Doria. 3-on-2 back the other way of Seton Hall hurry. Doria across the line. Doria to Crooks. Crooks in the slot. Crooks finds a sliding. It goes to Crooks and he scores! E.J. Solomon to Brady Crooks. Seton Hall scores with 2:21 to go in overtime. And once again, Delbarton loses to the Pirates in the last game of the season. Seton Hall and Brick for the championship in a couple of weeks.
You mentioned you wanted a goal that the goaltender had no opportunity to save. That was it. Two beautiful passes by Seton Hall, setting up the game winner. Again, a right-handed shot coming in on the left-hand side, picking up the puck, firing a one-timer, and again, you saw the cords bulge in the back. No doubt about it.
Ross Cherry put together about as valiant an effort as you possibly can. You see the winning coaches right there, John Warchel and Peter Herms. The Pirates fans celebrate. And a team from Delbarton right now about as dejected as you could possibly be. That's the third consecutive season they have lost in this game to Seton Hall. 2 years ago, they lost 4-2. Last year, they lost 3-1. This year, they lose 1-0 in overtime.
This is just magnificent. You see the jubilant Seton Hall prep team there, and they deserve to celebrate. They played a hell of a game, and what pass work on this last goal. What teamwork. They kept the pressure up the whole overtime, as I mentioned earlier. Neither team sat back in this overtime. They weren't waiting for the other team to make a mistake. They were coming out hard. So you knew it was going to be a good effort by one team to win this game, and Seton Hall did it.
Here is the winning goal once again. Brady Crooks gets it from Doria and Solomon at 7:39.
Well, there's Doria to Solomon. There's the pass back right there. Brady Crooks taking the pass. He dropped it for Solomon. Solomon used his skate to his stick, then slid it over.
And you make a great point. As you see it here, there is nothing that Ross Cherry can do about this.
Skate, stick, pass, shot, and a goal.
And the celebration. And now once again,
and you saw the glare of the red light. We were wondering when we were going to see that red light. We saw the glare of it in the upper corner just as the puck went in.
And now you see what really only hockey gives you, and that is the standard greeting from both teams and the congratulatory handshake from Delbarton to Seton Hall Prep at center ice. And John Warchel at center ice, you caught a glimpse of him there, speaking with Pat Lonergan. Lonergan really the best player for Delbarton overall, and he missed all but 5 games of this season. And in his 6th game this season, they go down to defeat. Here's one more look. Doria making the play to Crooks, to Solomon, and back to Crooks.
Well, here's the play right there. Skate, stick, it slides across. And again, Ross Cherry had no opportunity at all. Credit Doria for doing a great job taking the puck from center ice, gaining the blue line, working the play so that the pass was able to set up from the slot. Just an outstanding effort from everyone.
Bob Wischusen and Peter Caggiano. Much more to come from the Meadowlands on CN8. Seton Hall wins it 1-0 over the Delbarton Green Wave. They win the parochial championship for the 3rd consecutive year. And that is a look at the only puck that got into the net tonight. We're coming right back with the celebration continuing for Seton Hall after this. Time goal by Brady Crooks with 2:21 to go in sudden death overtime. The number is still up on the scoreboard here. They beat the Delbarton Green Wave, and the Pirates advance to take on Brick for the 2nd consecutive year. Last year they beat them 3-2 in the overall state final, but they win their 3rd consecutive parochial championship under co-coaches Peter Herms and John Warchel. What a game we had tonight, Peter Caggiano.
Outstanding. And you know what this sets up? This sets up a rematch of last year of Brick against Seton Hall in the overall championship on the 28th.
Let's head down to the ice right now. Mick Moninghoff standing by with one of the victorious coaches. Mick?
Well, show up against Brick now, so that's a big thing for us. I mean, Brick is another rival. We seem to have rivals all over the state.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go back upstairs to Bob Wischusen.
Mick, thanks very much. I guess all that can be said is March 28th should be quite a night, Peter.
Be here, and if you can't be here, tune in to CN8 because it's going to be a great game.
Brick and Seton Hall will do battle for the overall state championship here in New Jersey of New Jersey High School ice hockey. A tremendous night of hockey here. Brick wins the 1st game. Seton Hall in overtime wins the 2nd game. For Peter Caggiano, I am Bob Wischusen. Again, remember, March 28th, 6 o'clock, Sunday night. Be here, right here on CN8. Brick and Seton Hall prep for the championship of high school ice hockey in New Jersey. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Good night from the Meadowlands.